Warriors, come up to play.
Yeah, here we go.
Good Saturday morning, everybody. We are broadcasting live from the Weekend Warriors studios in beautiful Peoria, Arizona. I'm Ralph Romano, alongside my partners in crime. We've got the legend, Neil Lynch, and the legendary Philip Amrine, and this is the Weekend Warriors.
Oh, man. So at some point, we'll talk about the inside joke that
Probably
was
never
happening before we went on the air. However, if you want to find out more about that inside joke or
Join
talk
the
about
paywall.
that's right. That'll be on Patreon or whatever, OnlyFans at this point.
Yeah,
I
what
don't know.
OnlyFans was originally meant to be. Yeah,
But
it's
listen,
behind
we want you involved. We want to hear from you, the sports fans. Talk to us, say hi, let us know your takes on things, react to all the fun stuff that Ralph and Phil are going to say today.
Slip it in the comments.
Slip it in the comments. You got two ways to do that. The first one is comment on our live social media. I'm trying to work here, guys. Comment on our live social media streams. That's X, YouTube, and Facebook. Or if you are so inclined, hit us up on the Weekend Warriors text line, 866-412-6366. What's that number again, Neil? I'll tell you. 866-412-6366.
We shall never speak of those things.
Nobody should really. Well,
That was horrible.
it truly was. It's been a week. It's been a long week.
It's been 7 days, yes.
And it's actually finally cold.
It's freezing.
Oh,
in the studio. It's cold.
okay. Wah, wah, wah.
I forget we have
Minnesota guy.
Yeah, but a
Wah,
frequent
wah,
Minnesota
wah.
traveler. For those of us who are warm-blooded and have stayed native, especially during this winter season.
Wah, wah.
freaking
I
cold.
drove here this morning with the windows rolled down,
Wow.
and I loved it. It was brisk.
Did you have your shirt on?
It is a short sleeve.
I will not confirm nor deny if I had my shirt on. But I'll tell you what, I could cut some diamonds right now with this stuff.
Yeah,
I could cut some glass with this right here. I'm telling you.
Oh, my. All right. So, should we just dive into it?
Let's do it.
I
We
mean,
got a
at this
great
point, what
show.
choice do we have?
Yeah, we got a lot of choices. We can go into therapy session if we wanted to.
Apparently, you can.
Speaking
Anyway.
about snow, let's talk about Miami.
Yes. What a good game. Miami Ole Miss, right?
Yeah.
31-27 at over here in Glendale. What a fantastic sight for the Fiesta Bowl.
The
I do
Verbo Fiesta Bowl.
Go ahead.
I'm so tired of these sponsorships for the bowls. Like at some point, give it up. And if you're going to sponsor a bowl that is not your name, right? If we're talking about the Pop-Tart Bowl, like that makes it is its own thing. If you're going to be Chick-fil-A, offer a gosh darn peach item on your menu. Like if you're sponsoring the Peach Bowl and you're Chick-fil-A,
Don't they have peach tea?
I don't think so.
Thought they did in Georgia.
Oh, well, maybe in Georgia, but then
I could be
make
wrong.
that a national offering. Verbo, what does Verbo have to do with being in a fiesta?
I liked it when it was Tostitos.
I liked it when it was.
Yes, that's why it was
Right?
I liked it when it was sun-kissed.
Oh, wow. You're going back.
I know I am.
Wow.
There you go.
Sunkist. That's right. You used to work for Sunkist.
I did. I
remember
was
that.
very familiar with the Fiesta Bowl at that time.
Have
Yes.
some association. I get it. Like, yes, it limits your pool and therefore you will limit your sponsorships available to you. But can we not be so much of a money grubbing society that we can have some association?
You know what
My
I love
God.
is I love the Bad Boy Mowers Bowl. The pinstripe, the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl.
It's not the Oreo presents the Bad Boy Motors Bowl.
So
It is
good.
the Bad Boy Motors Bowl. That's my point. Why is Verbo sending you the Fiesta Bowl? Why is the Sugar Bowl brought to you by Allstate?
Well, it's like
where's the sugar from Allstate? They're giving you hands. They're not giving you handies.
well,
Brought to
think
you by
about
Cane
like
sugar.
the Guaranteed Rate Bowl, which is now the Rate Bowl, the First Responder Bowl by Serve Pro, the Military Bowl, which is sponsored by Go Bowling.
Prudential is bringing
What? And then you got
Prudential is bringing you the Rose Bowl. Like, what is that? The final rose of death? Like, what is that?
that's right, the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. Now listen, Pop-Tarts Bowl. That's low key pretty good.
That's
You
really
gotta
good.
love the guy. And then there's Snoop Dogg with his gin and juice, the Arizona Bowl.
That makes sense.
That's okay.
I am specifically I'm not talking about the naming of a bowl, because if you are
I
the
am.
Snoop Dogg Bowl, whatever, like that is what it is. I specifically have a problem with the heritage bowls that are then out sponsored. Like it defeats. You're just naming things to name them. You're naming the name.
Well, I hate that they're sponsored. I like back
It's
in the day, just a
absurd.
Rose Bowl, a Cotton Bowl,
Yes.
Liberty Bowl, Fiesta Bowl.
Yes, 100%. It's that.
But everything is sponsored now. It's all about money. Even the fields are sponsored now,
yes.
Yeah, you can sponsor
Right.
the game.
and then the field.
You can sponsor the stadium. You can sponsor the field in the stadium. You can sponsor the contest that takes place in the stadium.
You know
Yeah.
what was truly the first
Stupid.
step, and then we can actually get to the game analysis, which
Whatever.
everybody is certainly riveted by.
Oh,
right?
we're riveted.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. You know where this all started was when you could sponsor the urinal cakes. When we started sponsoring and making personalized, custom-shaped urinal cakes, that's when society really took a downturn.
Or did it go up from there? I kind of like that. When I go to the bathroom and I'm aiming, I like seeing that sponsored urinal cake. Gives me something to do.
There is something inherently guy about giving yourselves a marker. You know,
So
Exactly.
Carson Beck, he has
speaking
he
of
has
something
that drive at the end of the game, right? It's a
Yes.
75-yard, 15-play drive. Finishes it with a 3-yard TD run. You think the game's over, right? It was a great drive. Carson Beck is really playing some great ball
Yes.
right now. And then what happens, right? Ole Miss gets that ball. They drive back down. They throw up that 36-yard Hail Mary in the corner of the end zone. It's coming right at him, and he just gets interfered with, in my opinion. Completely, absolutely destroyed,
I agree.
right? And they don't call him.
It was
Yeah, that
something
was
of
a non-call.
It was something
Very
of a
bad.
very blatant
Way
non-call.
blatant.
I get it in
That was
that.
horrible.
I get-
Horrible.
I get it in that you really,
Terrible.
really, for the most part, let's be honest on this. For the most part, especially given you're a Seahawks fan with ferocious defenses in your history, that
Please
you
don't talk about that.
Oh, I'm just in that.
Oh no, please talk
I know,
about that.
I know that you normally like the players to decide the end of games. You do not want ref interference. So,
But that was blatant.
that felt really, really like obvious, even before replay. Like
It was bad.
Like there were calls specifically in that game of touchdown catches, our birthday catch, everything that the refs were making that were just stone cold locks even before they went to replay. That this felt so odd
Yes.
that they decided not to call it. That it felt like it was a choice.
Bitter Dolphin fans on Facebook says, "Do you three think the last play was pass interference?" And
Yeah,
I absolutely
I
do. All three of us do.
I do. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And you know what sucks as a team because you work the whole season to get to this point. You're a win away, a play away from going to the championship game, and they take it from you. And there's nothing you can do. Nothing.
Nothing.
It just sucks. Not happy about it. I think Ole Miss is a great story this year. It's a shame it had to end that way. Miami's a great story too. I mean, no doubt about it.
I'll tell you what, it was interesting. It kind of brought back some memories to see Ray Lewis and Michael Irvin on the sidelines, and
Yeah.
thinking about that Miami team from back in the day. That was pretty fun. I did feel bad for Ole Miss. I said this last week. The only reason I did not want Ole Miss to win is because it would have paid Lane Kiffin more money.
I know.
So
Yeah.
in a way, I'm very conflicted on that because I absolutely wanted Ole Miss to win in my heart, but in my head, I'm like, nope, I don't want Lane Kiffin getting any more money.
I'm with you.
Screw him.
I agree with you, man.
Yeah. So this ended in the best possible way. Unfortunately, Ole Miss had to lose. So, and I was curious. It was funny if you saw the opening coin flip or when they all went to the center of the field for the coin toss. It was interesting because each side had some NFL players who were there as the honorary captains. So they all get together. And it was funny. At one point, they start shaking hands, and Eli Manning's on one side and Ray Lewis is on the other. And at first, he just kind of gives him the head nod and doesn't walk over to shake his hand. And then about a second later, Eli is in his brain is probably going, "Go say hi to him or you look like a jerk." And then he finally walked over and like give him a hug or whatever. So I thought that little interaction was kind of interesting.
Baker's cocky hands on the text line. Of course, jeez. A good smelling urinal cake changes the whole dynamic. I prefer the ones that smell like bubblegum. You walk in the bathroom like, wow.
Yes, I agree. I agree. We're gonna do a special edition of the show and talking about the nuances and subtleties of urinal cakes.
See what you started, Phil.
Hey, I bring the fun. I do.
You bring the fun what?
and cakes. You know, I'm known. I am a known cake man. I love you, sports girly. But
so that's pretty much what was happening before we went on the air. Just so you know.
yeah, something akin to that. I will say, while it is a fun comment and I very much appreciate it, I can't say that I'm familiar with many other fragrances, scents, flavors, dare I say, of urinal cakes other than bubblegum. I felt like that's the prevailing factor. Like there's not like fresh linen.
You need to get educated. That's what it comes down to.
I do.
You need to learn more about the
ignorance.
The balls to the wall, take no prisoners
Balls
world of
to
urinal
the
cake.
wall.
Well,
That's good.
If your balls are to the wall, I think you're doing the urinal cake wrong.
That's good.
Listen,
That was good.
I appreciate you. Thank you very much.
So I think we're all in agreement.
That urinal cakes should smell like one bubble gum. Oh no, I'm sorry. Talking about the game. Yes, it was interference.
It was interference. I think
Yes.
also it does not help that in college specifically, like you're not like in the NFL, it is a spot foul. And then at times like that, you get an untimed play and you get a chance to give a team that otherwise, if it's contentious, you give them a chance to win the game when it feels undeserved, yada, yada, yada. At least in college, which I think has always felt more fair. It's up to 15 yards. So they would have still had to do yet another Hail Mary. Certainly shorter.
Oh, they would have been on the 20?
I get, yeah. Well, yeah. So it would have been a deeper, it would have been just almost like a regular overtime play for them.
It would have been the right call.
I think give them another chance. It's not giving them the game. You can still have it decided on the field.
Yeah, you could still miss the pass.
Could you
Copyright
miss the pass?
Josh Allen.
Missed.
Wah, 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 wah. Well done. Well done.
Goffenben's back. He's back on Facebook. Says we'll see this in hockey. The hockey playoffs. The refs swallow their whistles in the third period. If it's a penalty in the first, it's a penalty in the third.
Yeah. So
I agree.
So sometimes I don't know. I get that tendency too. Sometimes I feel like it's almost the opposite in some cases. But yeah, there's times where they'll call it in the first half of the game, and the second half they're like, "Oh, I didn't see that."
To the refs' credit, it felt like there was. It wasn't unfair. It felt like that was the theme, that they were kind of a swallow the whistle
trying to let them play
crew for the entirety of the game. And for the most part, whenever you hear interviews amongst coaches, players, what have you, people on a team, what they demand more so than anything as far as calls go, beyond, hoping for favorable calls, whatever.
Right.
What they would argue for is just consistency. Like if you're going to call it at the beginning of the game, you make sure to the last play that you call that all the way through. And so to that point, it did feel like the game in its entirety was somewhat left to be played on the field and not fully decided by the refs. And so in that thought, I can understand and see where the refs decided to err on the side of letting it just end.
Okay. So last night, Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl.
Somebody got their peaches
in Indiana, Oregon. Indiana just from the first play of the game. This game was over.
Do you want to talk about? I mean, just an anticlimactic game. I feel like that a lot of the bowl games, even the ones that no one cares about, even like the what was it? It's not this. It's not the CPF. It's the
CFP.
The playoff. Division I AA, they do.
Division II.
They call it not Division II.
I call it Division II, but
because you're an elitist anyway.
Elitist.
The one that's there's the bowl championship series and there's FCS. So it was Montana State.
Gotcha.
And I forget the other team because that's how much I cared.
South Dakota? No, Illinois State.
No, Illinois. Okay, Illinois State and Montana State.
Yep.
That game was incredibly exciting.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying my point, not to this. I did want to throw that in, thanks, because Amy's from Montana, so I have to do that.
Oh, is that what this is about?
Yeah, but Montana State won. It was great. So anyway, all the bowl games have been great. This one was the most anticlimactic game. Like you said, yeah, from the moment they walked on the field, it was over.
Well, anyone that's played Indiana, it's been most anticlimactic game. I mean, what they did to Alabama, now what they did to Oregon. I mean, Oregon's no slouch, man. This is a really good team.
I know.
13
That's
and
why.
1.
I'm like, what did they have half their team declare for the draft? Like, what happened?
I mean, I'll tell you what happened. Mendoza is what happened. Because I don't care what you think, and I know you're not sold on him. If you watched him play yesterday as a quarterback and you see the throws that he made, unbelievable. He is spot on with his throws. This is a sharp kid, man. This kid wasn't accepted to Yale because he's an idiot. He's smart. It comes out on the field, and in the way he plays and the way he reads defenses, wow.
So are you saying that the Raiders are going to have to upgrade their mental capacity, their intellectual capacity
when he joins? The Raiders?
He doesn't fit, but they're going to draft him.
It's weird.
They're going to draft him.
He's not a Raider.
He's going to stand up. He's going to be the most intellectual person in the whole city of Las Vegas.
He's going to probably beat the book. He's probably going to go into the casinos and win.
Oh, I know. I know.
His nickname will be the counting card.
And every time he's going to stare into the camera.
Let's listen to him talk real quick. I took this from last night. I want you to listen.
Okay.
Best to explain
talking about
they
defense.
played in helping light the fuse tonight, quite literally right out of the gate.
Right out of the gate. And people and coaches who really understand football know how important the turnover margin is. And today, we just simply blew them out of the water. And that was because of our great defense. We had 28 forced points after turnovers. And that was huge. There's a lot of plays that we're looking at the iPad on the sideline. It's a 3-play drive, 4-play drive. And it's not because we're having super explosive plays on offense, which we did, but it's because of our field position. It's fantastic. And our defense and our offense, they complement each other so well. And it's that synergy that we're able to play with. And that's how we're able to put up 50 whatever points you did.
Is this guy a coach?
That's what I thought. I seriously.
An announcer?
I'm going, wait a second. Which one is Fernando Mendoza? Oh my goodness.
This guy's amazing.
That was insane.
My wife comes to me and goes, that guy's got a career as a coach or a sportscaster down the road.
His the self-awareness and the awareness of the situation.
Such a smart
That
kid.
is unbelievable.
He does embody the coach on the field stereotype that you certainly enjoy. Guys, that deficit, that point spread was further than Oregon put on James Madison, was further than Ole Miss put on Tulane. And those are, again, college football playoff bowl games also. It was truly impressive. I could not have been more wrong in the single facet of that. Indiana, the only thing surprising about Indiana is simply just how much not of a game and not of a competition and how much they have elevated beyond the competition.
Well, they're such a complete team.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
And it's fun. He talked about that last night, and he talked about how he has this personal relationship with everybody on his team, especially his offensive players, and how he feels like he has to work extra hard to make sure he puts them in the right position and that he helps them be successful, because then he's not doing his job if he doesn't do that. This guy's got it all, man.
That's just, it's uncanny.
Well,
he's got all the tools.
As far as the off the field intangibles, I can almost go there. I can.
Charlie Becker.
Yeah.
And we've been a Dolphin fan back on Facebook. And I was thinking this last night when you're saying this. It says, Ralph, doesn't Indiana wide receiver Charlie Becker remind you of Steve Largent? His leaping ability, outstretched arms, great hands. He absolutely does look like a young Steve Largent.
That's old school. I like that.
I do like that comp, because a lot of times we make shoddy comparisons to modern day players simply because they're much easier to reach.
Right.
I like a historical comparison.
It's a good one.
I hadn't thought of that, but that's very good.
Yeah, I thought of it last night. I'm like, man, this guy looks so much like a young Steve Largent. Just everything about his game.
I mean, guys, currently the line between Indiana and Miami, which it is a home field. It should be a home field advantage to Miami. They just played in Miami's
literally in their backyard.
And Indiana's favored -7.5. And I'll be damned if I don't think Indiana's the side on this. Like that over these last two bowl games, that was amongst my two biggest takeaways.
I would flood the over on that. Whatever the over under is on that game, I absolutely take the over.
And it might singular. I mean, Indiana might flood the over on it just by themselves. I mean, the total is 48.5. You have to feel as if it's a safe over, specifically from Indiana's point.
Do you think that Miami's speed can do something in this game to maybe upset Indiana?
You're saying speed from the offensive side, because the defense, I thought, would have been the lone lane that Miami has, because Miami plays an SEC heritage style of defense, right? Like they've got the big uglies up front. They've got a bunch of physical playmakers in the secondary. And that is really where you would have thought that. I mean, keep in mind, this was a Miami team that stymied a Texas A&M team, an explosive Texas A&M team, to 3 points. Like they do have a defensive style available to them. Obviously, Ole Miss, you're dealing with a veteran quarterback in the college system with Chambliss. And now you're going up against a veteran quarterback, Heisman winning quarterback in Indiana over with them, with Mendoza. I do not, the fact that Ole Miss were able to make that a game actually made me feel less encouraged that we are going to get a game in the National Football Championship.
I feel like Miami had the easier route to the championship game when you look at it,
I suppose.
Because think about Indiana had to beat in Alabama. They had to take down Alabama. They had to take down a 13-1 Oregon team. I mean, those are two really big asks. And they didn't just take them down, they destroyed both of them. They didn't even make them games. Like they haven't been in a game yet. And they've played in two of the better teams.
Yeah, but Miami played a number 2 Ohio State. Remember what
I'll give them. You're true with Ohio State, but Ohio State was taken down by Indiana as well.
Yes, but that was a close game. So
That
I mean,
was closer. That's a good point.
by transitive properties, one could say. I mean, the fact that Indiana barely beat Ohio State and Miami managed to put up 24 on and beat them by 10 points should, in theory, give you confidence. Miami also played a Texas A&M team that many thought that they too were were true contenders. They just happened to be lower down because they just had an untimely loss. Look, I think in a lot of other years, Miami would be worthy and able to win a championship. Indiana is on something special.
They're a different level.
This is truly out of nowhere. I think that we will look back on this college year, and this feels almost historic to a level to where you would think that it's a bygone era where random teams could rise from nowhere. You're looking at like special Marshall teams. You're looking at special Cal teams where just teams would rise up from out of nowhere, and because a special coach in time came about, I felt like that was a thing of the past. And Indiana's proving that is very much still capable of sports in this moment.
Absolutely. And I think that what we're not talking about a lot is the head coach is Mr. Curt Cignetti.
Yes.
I'm sure you must be proud of him as a fellow Italian.
He's
Ralph.
a Goomba. Yeah.
Well, here's a Goomba. But and just one more comment about the Oregon-Indiana matchup. I think part of the reason why it was so lopsided is, and this is courtesy of the Sports Memory on Instagram, Oregon coach Dan Lanning told reporters that when he walked into his kitchen one morning this week, Indiana head coach Curt Cignetti had somehow broken into his home and was calmly drinking coffee while reading the newspaper. "What are you doing here, Curt?" Lanning said he asked. Cignetti reportedly lowered the paper, took a sip of the coffee, and replied, "I could ask you the same thing, champ. Looks like you had a late night. You staying out of trouble, buddy?" After an uncomfortable back and forth that Lanning described as, quote, mostly silence and judgment, unquote, Lanning threatened to call the police. That's when Cignetti allegedly sighed, folded the newspaper with visible disappointment, and said, "Really, Dan? We're going to do this? You sure you want your mother finding out about your little secret?"
What's going on here?
Cignetti then announced that he was hit in the head and calmly disappeared into Lanning's master bedroom. By the time police arrived, they surrounded the bathroom and kicked the door in. Cignetti was gone. Then there was no sign he'd ever been there. No forced entry, no footprints, nothing, except for what officers described as a lingering, deeply unsettling, quote, dad bathroom smell. Police reviewed Lanning's security footage and found no evidence of Cignetti entering or exiting the home, leading them to question whether the incident actually occurred. "I'm not crazy," Lanning insisted. "I know what I saw. I know what he said. And honestly, he didn't say much. He just kept implying he was going to tell my mom something, and he didn't. I didn't want to break her heart. I wish he'd somehow stolen something or broken a window. That would be way worse." Fighting back tears, Lanning added quietly, What do you think he's going to tell her?" Basically, they're just trolling the hell out of Lanning on it's a total joke. But the Instagram post has a picture of Cignetti sitting in the kitchen table in Lanning's kitchen in his house. Just read. In other words, he got into Lanning's head and just owned him.
Well, that's true.
My goodness.
That was a long way to get there, but
well, I read the whole thing. It was on Instagram.
Baker Cocky Hannah's on the text line says, "If you want a last play called the same as every other play, you need robot refs. Humans almost never make the call at that time. We complain about this every time."
I suppose.
Yeah, and that's what keeps us in business.
Yes, absolutely. One thing before we disembark, to your point, Ralph.
Yes.
While Indiana, I don't believe, has had the toughest of roads. There's nothing to say that Oregon was very impressive. Alabama, personally, feels a little overrated. I think that's partly why Notre Dame was so upset, was more so Alabama than Miami. I think that if they were true to themselves, they would know that they didn't even deserve to get in over Miami. If Miami were to win, which I don't think is possible.
It's possible. Anything's possible. Well, not likely, but not possible. Likely.
If they were to win, now that is your point of that is the hardest road to go to and like truly face everybody outside of Georgia. Like that was the one lone team that they did not face that Ole Miss just cleaned up for them. If not for if somehow Miami wins, that truly would be hardest road to toe if they were to win the championship.
So are you picking Indiana?
100%.
Neil?
I'm picking 1,000. In fact, I'm going on to DraftKings right now, and I am putting my money on the line for Indiana and the over.
Okay.
1,000,000%
It's actually
doing
not
that.
a bad bet.
So there you go.
I'm with you guys. I think all three of us are on Indiana.
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk about it today, but I think there's a conversation to be had about the NIL's impact on this year. I mean, you would never see this matchup. Never. And how we've turned into a free agency model in college football. And
yes,
I love it.
I'd love it, but I want to have a deep conversation about this maybe next week. But the one thing I will say is we were talking about this last night. Me and my wife actually started talking about this stuff, which was really odd. And
how was that odd?
Because we don't ever talk about things like this. And the conversation was like, why do these kids even have to go to school or go to class? They're not there for that anymore. They're in there making an average of $3 million in NIL. They're basically it's a minor league system. Why are these kids going to school? What's the facade? Just make it a minor league system and move forward. You don't need to have this facade of I'm a student athlete. You're not.
Well, I think you touched on 2 points there. The first of all being we are truly, which is odd, we are in a new era.
Yes.
We are in the NIL era, which is also coupled with the CFP era, where the playoffs also is something new, which again, we have long, college has yearned ever since the inclusion of a national football championship,
right,
has yearned for everybody to be involved. Your local bowl winner to say like, we are the true champions, yada, yada, yada. We have that. Couple that with NIL where depth is no longer monopolized. It's completely revolutionized, I would say, for the health and benefit of the sport, as far as not just football, but college football specifically. Revolutionized it to a point to where it is so much better. It is so much better than just having just Alabama.
But it's not about building a program anymore. It's not about that. It's not about your recruiting class. It's not about building a program. It's about who can do best in free agency. It's all about free agency.
It almost feels like club baseball or club softball.
Absolutely.
That's the time frame we're talking about.
Is not Indiana though the absolute antithesis of this?
No, they are, but that's my point.
That they're
if you have good you have to have good coaching, which Indiana and Miami both have really good head coaches.
Yes.
Right. So you have to have that piece. But on top of that, who can you go grab in the portal every year and fill into your team culture with a few guys that you recruit and go after it? That's what it's about. The Alabama's winning it every year. That's gone. That's dead and buried. You won't see it anymore. And you're going to see, I guess to your point, for people like you that like this, you're going to see different teams people probably like every year. You won't see that dominant program
people
anymore.
Like you.
We are far. I know. Yeah.
There are people like you. I'm not that.
No, I know. We are far too early in the infantile stages of what this is for me to make that assumption.
But that's where it's going.
No, strictly because I think where we can move and turn this conversation to is where Chambliss was willing, wanting, and desiring to stay in college for another year.
And he won't.
And he's not able to.
Because they won't let him, which is ridiculous.
Yes. Where there are viable conversations for Dante Moore of Oregon to stay in college football one more year, I think that speaks well to where we can have not only identities as far as brand, loyalty towards programs and loyalty towards staying around in college, staying on a team, as it were. You have now what used to be the college basketball model, which is for the health of both sports, of the NFL as well as college football, to where now quarterbacks and high premier talented players outside of positional players that are the top of the top because you don't want to get injured. But if you're a quarterback, I think that far more now than ever, it has been far more accessible for you to make an easier decision rather than, we're talking about Pete Carroll earlier, rather than Pete Carroll getting on, who's the guy who got drafted to the Cardinals? I lost his name, and he's a USC Trojan. He won with Matt
Leinart.
Matt Leinart. Rather than getting on him for leaving early, getting on all these players for leaving early, they're going to be sticking around because
they make more money.
Because they'll make more money, because it's probably better for their draft status. Even if you're the second quarterback, pick number 2, it is far more advantageous for you to stick around to Oregon than to go to the New York Jets and that tire fire And because you have a viable route to stay and get more seasoning.
Well, Mendoza, if he could stay, should stay because he'll make more money next year than he will going to the NFL.
And honestly, it's better for him. Like, would you rather go and take your lumps and go and be anything but the number 1 overall pick? That's the only thing.
It depends on the person. Me personally, I'd rather go to the NFL. That's just me.
That really is just you, man. Because
But that's just different.
Who wants to go get beaten up for an entire year?
Yeah, but I think that someone like Mendoza is going to crave the intellectual challenge of playing at the highest level, because it's pretty clear based on how he talked about this last game in that clip you played. It's pretty clear he's already completely mastered. He's mastered the college game.
But like Moore, was Dante Moore from Miami?
Yeah,
he needs to stay in. He killed his draft stock yesterday. In my opinion, he looked terrible. He looked like a guy that has a lot to learn and it can't handle pressure. And going to the NFL is about handling pressure, and he showed that he broke down doing it. He needs to go back, have a good season, and show that he can handle it and get a year. Just like Mendoza, if you look at his first few years at McCal, he wasn't very good.
No,
he became what he is this year. It's unbelievable. You at that point, you take advantage and you go now. Your stock never will be higher.
There's a reason why there are outliers, and why there's a strong correlation towards time played in college and snaps had, especially as a starter, rather than as far as the position of quarterback specifically. Because really it doesn't exist everywhere else. You get playing time if you're good enough. But for quarterback specifically, it is so dangerous for you to have like in Alabama right now, you've got their quarterback coming out. And Simpson, yeah. Ty Simpson. There's going to be a huge discussion about him because he very well could be the second to third best quarterback out in this draft class. And people are going to,
he needs to go back.
God bless you. There is such a chance that there's going to be a team such as the Raiders who decide to take somebody. We looked at Miami, who will just bite on Reuben Baines, say we want the next Myles Garrett because he's our guy. Yeah. And then we're going to go in and go to the guy coming out of Alabama and say, that's a guy that we can make Ty Simpson our guy at the end of the first round.
I can see the Cardinals doing that. I don't see the Raiders doing that. Ty Simpson, I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot
How
ball.
dare you? Never forget that you can completely outthink the room if you are the Raiders. They have that in them, and they continue.
Well, we'll get into that in a little bit, but I think we can get into deeper detail in a few other weeks, but it's just changed so much. It really has.
And that's why I think you placing a stamp and saying like this is the way that it's going to be. It is so volatile.
It's the Wild West though. And until they change that, until they put rules around this, because they have none, you basically can do whatever the heck you want.
I think it's fine.
You can't have chaos. There's not a long-term play with chaos.
I think where they want to rein it in is so infringing upon their ability to where, I mean, look, the closest we came to pure and utter chaos was the Washington QB this week, where he decided that he's going to stay, and then he signed a deal, and it was like, oh wait, the quarterback who just signed over at Texas Tech got like double what I just signed for at Washington. Let me go back into the portal.
That's what I'm saying.
Within one cycle,
chaos.
And Washington was like, no, we are going to pursue legal action if you decide to.
And they should.
And they should. He decided to come back. All's well that slept well.
You need rules around this. There's no rules.
They self-regulated right there. There's a complete example of self-regulation.
There's got to be rules.
My dear friend pal Ralph over here.
Come on.
Come on.
Society without rules is chaos.
It's a little fun to watch.
But who implements the rules though?
You need a governing body, and it can't be the NCAA.
Okay.
So the same
there.
people who can't follow the rules, you put them in charge, and then they're going to make the rules.
I
and
think
suddenly
maybe
become
it's
better.
Maybe since you have these super conferences now, maybe it's the head of these conferences that get together and create a body.
I'm just being.
No, it's a valid point though. But it's a valid point.
I'm just stoking the fire. That's all.
All right, let's move on from college football because we need to jump into
the National Football League.
Like sands through the hourglass, so are the games of last week.
Yes, everybody, it's time for Phil's favorite segment of the show.
It is.
It's the games of last week.
It's my second favorite of Phil's segments.
I have a couple favorite Phil segments.
I like when he does the trivia contest where it's pretty obvious he's trying to do Taylor Swift things just to annoy you, and I play into it completely. That's my favorite.
One last comment before we move on. Bitter Dolphin fan is on Facebook, says, look at the difference between Bo Nix and Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
Nix played more games. Richardson played one season and took a third less snaps than Nix.
Bo Nix played every game available.
Nick played every game for him and other people too. I mean,
he went to Europe all but and just played another
seriously.
season. All good. Yeah, Bo Nix.
Yeah.
All right.
So games of last week. So I look at notable games. I know you always do, but I'm going to bring it right off the bat. The Seahawks getting the number 1 seed and basically the defense dominating the Niners in a 13-3 win. I mean, that was one of the best defensive performances of the year, in my opinion. They made Chris McCaffrey look mere mortal. He did nothing against them. Nothing.
Okay.
And the way that they tackled and held those receivers back, and the way they brought Purdy back to looking what Purdy is. This is an offense that was averaging 40 plus points a game over the last 3 weeks. They shut them down to nothing. You have to give them credit for that performance.
See, this is why I don't like when the Seahawks do well, because this kind of stuff
Yeah, I
happens.
know.
But it's reality, right?
The confirmation bias just bubbles up.
This is not
And
even
it's-
bias. This
and
is
it's
just
like,
facts.
He's the greatest. This is the greatest team in the history of
When
football.
you shut an offense down like
Ever.
this, you have to have a comment. You have to have a positive.
And that's the thing, is it takes away from the fact that, yeah, it actually was a very dominant defensive
Thank you.
performance by the Seahawks.
Yes,
I will acknowledge that. But like the hyperbole painting everything is, it's the worst ever.
Let me get my brushes.
McCaffrey is a total dud. Purdy's awful. Well,
I've never seen McCaffrey shut down like that.
We've talked about how Brock Purdy's a little suspect.
Yeah,
Anyway,
no, we
so
agree
to be
with that.
fair.
But I've never seen
Sorry, go
McCaffrey
ahead.
shut down like that ever.
I apologize. Please go
No,
ahead.
it is just a step too far. It is just not even a step. It is a leap far too
Is
far.
it?
I came in here willing
Is
to
it?
concede some points to say, yeah, incredibly impressive defensive performance to historically make sure that Shanahan has historic lows as a rushing team. He has never ushered an offense for years that has had as dismal a rushing performance as they were able to put on the field that Saturday night. It is truly marvelous. However,
Marvelous. Good word.
yeah.
Marvelous. However, here it comes. However, go ahead.
I would say that was almost an indictment of why people were putting such an importance on Christian McCaffrey and why he garners 5th, 6th, 7th place MVP votes, because you saw what happens when you take off the head of the snake, which I think we all agree.
Agreed.
Is
The
Christian
Union of the
McCaffrey,
Snake. That's a great
As
song by
opposed
Duran
to-
Duran, by the way.
Mac
we saw it
Jones,
last
as
year.
opposed to Brock Purdy.
Yeah, we saw it last year too.
Yes. So I think we all find those to be marshmallow puff stats as far as like the offense is being scored. We know the significance that happens whenever Purdy or the 49ers offense, how they perform without Trent Williams, their
Mhm.
left tackle.
Oh, that hurts them big time.
Oh,
No doubt.
tremendously.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
also they got injured. Like where you cannot stop giving compliments to the Seahawks is I cannot remember a time that the 49ers looked whimpering. Man, they whimpered and just took their ball and tried to go home. And you saw them wanting the game to end. You saw them kick the ball and just say, here, take your first seed. We'll go to the playoffs our own way. That was highly impressive. However,
Go ahead. However, go ahead.
Boy, here we go.
Here we go with the however, but go ahead.
I wasn't impressed by Sam Darnold.
You don't need to be.
No, listen. All right. I'm
I
gonna
was.
I'm gonna jump in on this one.
I was.
Hey, hey.
have a touchdown.
I'm gonna jump in on this
So?
one. I'm gonna jump in on this one, and this is partially against Ralph's bloviation about what an elite quarterback
That's a good
Sam
word.
Darnold allegedly is.
I like bloviation.
Bloviation. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, what I saw in Seattle this week was impressive in the sense that this is the blueprint for the playoffs, right?
Yes.
Yes.
You focus on the running game. You get
Yes.
Charbonnet his carries.
Yes.
You put Darnold in situations where he's not going to screw up and hurt your team.
Right.
So
Yes.
you basically turn him into a game manager.
Right.
I said this last week, and I think one or both of you made fun of me because
Not
I'm
me.
old,
I
right?
did.
It might have been me.
It was
him.
probably you,
It was.
but it was
probably
old.
was me.
This is literally the blueprint they used with the Ravens with Trent Dilfer.
Yes.
Okay, so
the Cowboys used it too.
They're right. They're doing the same
With
thing.
Aikman.
They're turning Darnold into a game manager and letting the rest of the team carry the load. I think that's the recipe for the playoffs.
That's all you need. When you have a team like you have the most complete team in the NFL, that's what you do.
So you don't need an elite quarterback because the Seahawks do not have one.
You need a guy that can manage the game. You need a guy that can, because look at it this way. I know what you're saying, but to Neil's point, Charbonnet and K9 got their runs.
Yeah.
180 yards on the ground, which is that Seattle is a run first offense. They have been all year. They're the only team in the NFL that runs more than they pass.
Yeah.
Right. That's their stamp. Play great defense. Right. And Sam Darnold needs to make the plays when they need him. And what did he do in that last drive? He made big third down conversions when they needed it. That's what he does. He makes plays when they need it. They don't rely, but hold on. They don't rely on Sam Darnold to win the game. They're too complete of a team for that. They don't rely on one guy. They rely on the team.
That is such a far cry and such a pathetic backwalking of where you come from.
That's true.
That is
1,000% backwalk.
To go on these airwaves, on these streaming services, and to somehow come in. I never said he was elite. He's just the best game manager the NFL has ever produced. Is such inauthentic.
He is the reincarnation of Troy Aikman. It's exactly what Troy Aikman did in the 90s for the Cowboys. Troy Aikman was not a great elite quarterback.
How big are Sam Darnold's hands? I just want to know.
I don't know. They weren't around me or anything.
Not yet.
But they were holding his balls.
But if you look back at the 90s, was Troy Aikman elite? Now you'll say he is now, but he wasn't.
You've happened to reach just like a weird sect of where I agree with you on like I
That's
find
bizarre.
Troy Aikman weirdly overrated, but I don't know how.
But he was overrated. He was a great manager of that. He was a perfect fit in that system.
Yes.
He had great receivers. He had a great running back and an amazing defense, and they won 3 bowls.
So then I think where weirdly now I guess somehow we won the argument. He's not elite. Where we agree is there. Where we differ, because I still have one last thing to dissect with you.
Go ahead.
Is you you have some unearned faith that I have no idea where it is warranted, where it is deserved, where it has been achieved of Sam Darnold, that somehow when you are going to need him at the most time, when you are down, when you are in a late do or die moment with Sam Darnold, with pressure being in his face, that he's not going to somehow just lollipop it, just throw it out into the worst place possible to where he's going to give it to JSN.
I'll let Neil go first.
Yeah, to go to JSN. I don't have any trust in that man to do that.
So, side note, before you continue,
yes,
I want to fact check Ralph a little bit here. I'm looking at the ESPN.com total team offense stats 2025 for the regular season, and you heard a moment ago, Ralph said that the Seahawks are the only team that passes more than they run, or runs more than they pass.
52 to 48.
According to this, well, okay, so you're talking number of attempts, right? Which is a total. That's a cheap ass way to do it.
No, that's how you do it.
Because I'm looking at the stats here.
How else would you do it?
And according to this, it's 3,877 yards passing.
No, you can't look at yards.
2,096 rushing.
That's not the way you look at it.
Oh, okay. So
no one looks at it that way, Neil. Sorry.
When I say they run more than they pass,
right?
You think total yards, not attempts.
No, you don't, dude. What planet do you live on?
I live on the planet where normal people live.
You live on the planet where you don't know what the hell you're talking about. It's done by percentage of plays run.
This is the guy that says that Sam Darnold's a
Is it run by percentage of plays run?
It depends on how it's framed.
Because you're always going to have more yards passing than rushing. That's reality.
Okay. Here we go. So let's take the facts.
Anyway,
this is fantastic. Whatever.
To your point, you're talking about I can't rely on Sam Darnold at the end. Yes, you can. He's done it multiple times
from
this
a comfortable, cushy lead. Yes.
How many times have he done it this year where they've had to come from behind in the last drive and he's driven down and they won?
Once.
That's
against the Rams game.
Now that's
Rams. He did it against the Rams. He did it against the Cardinals. You weren't at that game.
Cardinals.
It doesn't matter. He did it.
Okay, so
you name a defense in the NFC title playoff contention that he's going to face that is at all on par
fine.
with defensive
down
coordinator
16 points
or talent of the
down
Arizona
16 points against the Rams, the number 1 seed a few weeks ago, and boom,
I'm giving you that.
Did he come back?
Rashid Shaheed came back.
Or she started it, but then Darnold threw the pick. He threw the touchdown to Barner. He had to throw the two down
near through the pick.
There you go.
Yes, he did.
Anyway. Point being, can I just say one more thing about this?
Please,
and we'll move
by all
on.
Means, yeah.
The thing that impressed me the most about that game,
yes,
honestly, one player, Nick Emenwari.
Yeah,
what a stud.
Yes,
what a pick in the draft. I mean, John Schneider, if you look at his last 4 or 5 drafts, this dude's he's got it.
We are blessed. We are so gifted of a like viewing audience to be at the same time as far as sports go, to be in the presence of like 2 standout general managers of our time, both in Howie Roseman and Schneider. Over in like both of those are guys are innovators, are great talent evaluators. Elite. Very For the GM, yes.
They are. They're both
I've never denied you that.
Yeah, they're elite.
Yes. As far as it goes, though, as far as how it plays, since the Seahawks aren't playing this weekend, I will say, regardless of who they play, I do think it puts the Seahawks specifically in a bit of a risky position. I like them more on the road. Like,
Nah, I disagree with that. They're playing so good on the.
I mean, historically,
I'll tell you what. I've
the
said it
record goes
already.
with me.
There's only one team that can beat the Seahawks, and that's the Rams. That's
the Rams.
That's the only team that, as a Seattle fan, that's the team that I fear. I think the Rams can go into Seattle and win, and there's no doubt in my mind they can. That's the only team that's going to beat them. No one else is going to go in there and win.
Well, when you say no one else, you basically have like a couple of choices.
I mean,
So that's
I don't
not-
think the Packers will. I don't think the
No,
Eagles
I
will.
agree.
I don't think the Bears will. I don't think the Panthers will have the opportunity to. I just don't see any of those teams have the opportunity. And the Niners won't. The Rams can go in there and win. No doubt.
And I don't like that their first matchup very
Could be the Rams.
easily could be the Rams.
Yeah, and that's what sucks. They very well
Yeah.
could be.
Yeah, because the 49ers,
I
Even
do
if-
think the Packers are going to win, beat the Bears, and they're going to go to Seattle. I really do think the Packers win, but we'll talk about that
way
later.
to give out a pick. No,
I
I'm
know
kidding,
we'll
yeah.
talk about that later, but I do think they have a good shot.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would say that it's to the detriment the Seahawks that they've got the number one seed. Weird as it is,
Well,
just
They've had it 3 times. And they've been to 3 Super Bowls, so we'll see.
yeah. I'd say historically that matters a little bit.
It's a tough place to play in the playoffs, especially.
Oh, it is. It is tremendous.
Let's look at some other games. So the Ravens Steeler game. What did you guys think of that game? Does that kicker just slice his throat
that
after the
game-
game or what?
Well, no, here, it's funny. I saw a lot of talk on social media how there was, so first of all, and I'll touch on it briefly. I don't know if you want to say any more about it, but the Ravens fans who went after that kicker's girlfriend on social media,
What?
those are horrible people.
I didn't hear about that.
It was-
Scum of the earth.
It was unbelievable.
Potatoes.
So there was a previous post that she had posted about getting engaged, I think it was, to her boy, whoever I forget the kicker's name.
Loop.
Tyler Loop.
Tyler Loop. So there was and after the game, Ravens fans went on her thing and basically threatened murder. They
That's
threatened her life
ridiculous.
physically. They threatened his life.
Gosh.
It was unbelievable. Like scum of the earth human beings.
Absolutely.
You people are absolute.
Dirtballs.
This is disgusting. But at the same time, once Harbaugh was fired, I saw a lot of people giving respect to Loop because he was basically the one responsible for getting him fired. In fact, there was a meme where they showed the goalposts in that game when he kicked, and it was like basically the way that game ended was, or the way it was going to end was, in between the uprights, Tomlin gets fired. On either side of the
Oh, that's
uprights,
funny.
Harbaugh gets
That's funny.
fired.
That's funny.
That was pretty funny. So I think that it's just fans are awful.
I saw him walking off the field with Harbaugh, and it was kind of a cool moment where Harbaugh had an arm around him and was talking to him. Harbaugh was kind of had his arm around Loop and was
Loop.
talking.
Yes,
he was
yes,
talking
yes,
to
yes,
him,
yes.
trying to
Well, here's what's funny.
let him
It's,
know it's cool.
it's like I feel like that the Ravens fans have achieved the level of worst fan base ever. Because remember, okay, so I'm going to do a
Ooh.
baseball analogy.
Is it the Raiders fan or Ravens?
Ravens.
Oh, okay.
No, the Raiders
You say
fans.
Cowboys?
Raiders fans are all bark but no bite, so I don't worry about them anymore. But do you remember? Okay, so I'm going to go to a baseball analogy.
Okay.
During the playoffs,
What's with all this banging?
that
from the
relief
Niners?
pitcher,
Oh.
that relief pitcher who made the incorrect
Philly?
decision to throw you in Philly, the fan base, it felt like immediately was like, nope, he made a mistake. We're going to protect him. We're not going to go after him. Y'all calm down. Like the team rallied around him, and
Which
it felt
was
like the
surprising.
fans did, right? So Philly redeemed themselves in that case, but the Baltimore fans, I
agree with you.
There's a lot of really horrible,
And that was surprising
Ravens
for
fans.
Philly fans because they're such dirtballs.
Well, they weren't in that case, and
They
then
weren't.
So,
You're right.
So I think the Ravens have now elevated to potentially the worst fan base in the NFL, and that number moves around all the time. But I think at this point,
There's
it's
a lot of
definitely
competition.
there's a lot of competition. But I think the Ravens qualify as the worst fan base. However, a lot of them were very happy that Harbaugh got fired.
What a tremendous game, though.
Yes,
Truly, for a downtrodden week as it was, since the NFL just continues to add more and more games, continues to get more and more fat off of everything, and thus leads to less meaningful games near the end of the season. Way to end the season of the regular.
It was
the
good.
regular-
It was great.
Tremendous.
It was
Aaron
great.
Rodgers. He finally got his moment post Green Bay.
Sucks.
He finally. He does suck, but he did get a moment that you can actually look to and say, okay, finally, Aaron both did not was not the cause for Mike Tomlin to lose his winning streak, where he's never had a losing season. And now also he brought the Steelers to the playoffs. Like he met the requirements to where if he were to retire, he was not the reason for the Steelers' demise.
Look,
Do you consider yourself one of those cast-offs too?
No, I'm not a cast off.
Without any hesitation.
No, I'm not a cast off. What are you talking
Sports
about?
Girlies on YouTube says the real kicker was that Harbaugh was fired.
There we go.
Wah, 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 wah.
What a game of kickers, though.
The real
also. Because
kicker.
had Luke made it, all we would have been talking about would have been the other kicker, Chris Boswell, missing an
Right.
extra point.
And we would have been trashing Rodgers.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Deservedly
everybody
so.
would.
I would have been.
Well, would you have? Because the man
Sure.
performed admirably.
Still would have said trash.
Well, you know what?
Oh.
I maybe I wouldn't have trashed him because I realized it would have probably been the end of his NFL career. I know there's talk of him maybe staying around of the year, yada yada yada.
God, I hope
I don't
not.
think you make that
I don't
decision.
think he
But
can.
if we're going to talk about trash, what about the Buccaneer Panther game? That was
my
just-
goodness.
well,
that
the
was
game itself was
horrible.
awful.
that was not a
You didn't like
great.
I tried.
That was not a great. I
was a horrible
watched as
game.
much of that game as I could. It was just sad to say. I wanted the Bucs to get in because I like Baker Mayfield, but that was just painful. It was
right
super
now we're not
painful.
getting the full version of Baker Mayfield. Like I think
Well,
he
he's
can
hurt,
just-
isn't he?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
got like a separated shoulder on his non-throwing. It might even be his throwing. Honestly, I know that he's working with a separated shoulder.
Well, not
Look-
anymore.
One
Not
would-
for the rest of the season.
Yeah, one would hope. Yeah, it's weird. Everybody's for some reason up in arms over division talk about how either, which is lunacy, that if you win your division,
Oh, we're
That
going
you-
here.
yeah,
Oh, yes,
Why
we
not?
are.
No, go
Apparently,
ahead.
we're
Why not? I
segueing.
mean,
Go ahead. You're way ahead of us, but go ahead. We'll do it.
that somehow
Do it.
if you were to win your division,
Mhm.
not only should you not be guaranteed a playoff spot, which you should. Like, what is the number? I think it's very healthy for the sport that your number one division or your number one goal during any season is not to just win the Super Bowl. It's to win your division. That's number one goal. You ask any team beginning of season, what's your number one goal? Win the division.
Okay.
Next, that the reward for that should be anything less than hosting a game is absurd.
No, it's not. Absolutely not. I disagree with you 100% because we need to do something. I think winning your division should guarantee you a spot in the playoffs, but then your spot in the playoffs needs to be seeded by your record because it is absolutely insanity that a losing team like the Panthers is hosting a 12-win team in the first round. That's insane. You don't earn that by winning a shooty, I almost said the word,
Yeah, I know.
by winning a cruddy division like that.
Shooty?
That division
What's
sucks.
Shooty? Is that Shador
Yeah.
Sanders? Winning
You-
a Shador Sanders game.
And this is a Seahawk fan who's 7-9 Seahawks
is the embodiment
played
of
the
it.
division, played the Super Bowl champion
Defending Super Bowl,
Saints
yeah.
and beat them in that game. I don't care. It's wrong. That as much as I dislike the
It's
Niners,
morally wrong.
the Niners at 12 wins or the Rams at 12 wins should not be going on the road in the playoffs.
So-
Absolutely not.
So here's my argument, and I understand where both of you are coming from. I don't have an opinion one way or the other, but here's what I will say is that typically when you have an overmatched team like an 8-9 Panthers playing the Rams, for example, in the
Right.
case we're going to have, I mean, listen, anything can happen, especially this season
Sure.
with everything so crazy. But statistically speaking, the odds are incredibly high for that team, whoever that losing team that makes the playoffs. It makes for awful football, right? I don't even know if you want to be in that situation as a team. That's part of my concern. Obviously, if you're the 7 seed, you're going to play the 1 seed no matter, or whatever,
seed,
the
yeah.
2, right? Exactly. I get that, but I don't know. To me, that's my only question mark. I'm not saying one way or the other. I see both sides of it, but honestly, that's kind of the other thing I think about.
But what you're addressing is not really what's at topic here, because what you're addressing is saying like because with what we're agreeing on is that if you win your division, you're guaranteed a playoff spot. This does not. It just matters on who hosts it. It doesn't say like, oh, we're not going to include the Panthers when what team was the 8th seed? Like what when we look at the standings. So that's what team missed out in
Lions, I think, were the 8.
that would make sense. Yeah, the Colts in the AFC
Oh, AFC.
or the Vikings Wow.
It was Lions or Vikings?
It was the Vikings.
Well, because that game, I agree.
Yeah.
But there would have been different endings to games. It would have kept
Sure.
teams playing harder in week 18
Possibly.
because they would have had more to play for.
Possibly.
Yeah.
So just to that, it doesn't.
I'm just way off topic. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I got you.
No, it's fine. It wouldn't address that. However, so to that, my response to that, Ralph, simply is what I have the same as whenever we see utter absurdity in the NBA. Whenever at the end of games, professional players have some problem with an unspoken rule of that you can't dunk, you can't score in a blowout game near the end of the day because like they're playing no defense and they're like, how dare you score on us?
That's an etiquette thing.
Then stop it.
Mhm.
Same would be in this situation. If you don't like it and you're the Rams, you had a shot. You had a shot to not be on the road. Win more.
But that's ridiculous. They had 12 wins.
They have. We can specifically for the Rams, we can point to the point in time in history where had they won in Seattle, granted, do I think that they did not have any help by the ref for that just faulty 2-point conversion thing? Sure, what have you. But they had opportunities. They had
did.
opportunities.
They lost to the
galore.
Panthers.
They lost to these very Panthers.
That Panthers cost them.
Yes.
I get that. But then there's two options here. I'm sorry. There's two options.
Please.
There's a third option, which is you leave it the way it is, which I think sucks.
I love it.
Option one is you completely abolish the whole division thing and it's seedings 1 through 7. Done.
You do realize that
I'm just saying
that
you can do that.
disrupts and destroys a lot of like any stakes at the end.
I understand that, but I'm just saying that's option one. Option two is you keep the division valid, right? But as a division winner, if your record is not well, like the Panthers is, the minimum seed you can get is a 5. So you can't get a home game if you don't have the record, but the 1 to 4 team have. The 1 to 4 seeds have to earn it by record. You have to have that top record. If you're a division team and you have an 8 and 9 record, you're guaranteed the 5 seed. You're still going on the road. I'll give you that. You get a little value for it. But you don't get to host a home game just because you're 8 and 9 and you won a cruddy division that has nobody worth a darn in it. That's horrible.
It's what goes around comes around. Everybody
How do you win
equal
12
opportunity.
games? 2 teams that win 12 games are on the road this weekend.
It's
insane.
an oddity, and it makes I think that being more selective and having those abilities is part of what makes it so unique.
But it's not right.
It makes it so entertaining. Is that the selectiveness of saying like, you know what, you were just gifted in a time to where does it suck being in the AFC West? Where and being stuck and having to have 2 divisional games against the Kansas City Chiefs at the height of their powers.
Not anymore.
The point is,
yeah, I know.
The point remains. Does it suck? Does it suck being a Dolphin fan? Does it suck being a Jets fan? Does it suck being a Bills fan?
You're hurting yourself.
Stuck?
Think about it. Okay, so like we just talked about this. Let's say the Rams.
At the same time, Tom Brady.
Let's say the Rams have to go to Seattle in the divisional round.
Yes.
Seattle and the LA are the 2 best teams in football, in my opinion. You can talk about the Broncos, but let's talk NFC.
No,
they're the 2 best teams in the NFC right now.
Yes.
And they should probably meet in an NFC championship game, not in a divisional round. But because the way it's done, they're going to be forced to meet probably earlier than that, which is wrong. Let them play it out. Let all 4 of those, let all 3 teams in the NFC West have home games and let it play out based on seeding that way. I like that better.
What is wrong is denying anybody who is worthy of a championship shot out of the playoffs. That was what was the. Sorry.
You pissed my dog off by saying that.
I know. The dogs are barking. They're so upset about this. What is wrong? And then we can move along and get to a break here. But what is wrong is denying teams chances to play for a championship that are fully deserving, right? That is where we just had this discussion with the college football playoffs of where teams that had viable, legitimate chances and just lost one game, had one wrong mistake, one misstep, did not have an ability to play for the championship. That is not the case here. The Rams had 5 opportunities.
I get it.
5 opportunities to refix what this wrong is, and they didn't.
Still had 12 wins. Bitter Dolphin fans on Facebook says 50% chance of rain in Carolina. Does that even the playing field? It could.
Also, if we're being honest, all these new stadiums that are being built really mitigates the idea of like home field advantage. Like we're all just going into indoor stadiums anyways.
All right. Well, on that note, hey, thanks for being here. Hour 1, hour 2 up next. We'll see you in about 4:30. Weekend Warriors.
Hey, Ralph, got another solar question for you.
Okay, but did you check out the Harmon Solar podcast first?
The what?
The Harmon Solar podcast. We put new episodes up twice a month that teach you all the things you ever wanted to learn about solar. We discuss things like how solar works, the roofing, sales process, demand management, everything solar.
Show like this needs some real smart thinkers, huh?
Well, yeah,
So you got some really great guests then, huh?
almost every show.
Is it on Spotify?
Yep.
iTunes?
Yep, just search it everywhere. It's the Harmon Solar podcast. Go check it out at harmonsolar.com.
After you cook, are you staring at a pan full of grease? Pan dust turns hot, messy grease into dry, scoopable crumbs in seconds. Sprinkle, stir, let it set, wipe it out, done. Fewer towels, cleaner counters, and yes, happy drains. Want to see it work? Open YouTube and search Pan Dust Absorbs Grease, or go straight to our channel at Pan Dust Absorbs Grease. Watch a quick demo, hit subscribe, and share it with your bacon-obsessed friends. It works on cast iron, non-stick, baking sheets, even grill pans. It's plant-based, no harsh smell, and cleanup is weirdly satisfying. Make cleanup the easiest part of cooking. Pan dust absorbs grease.
Game day, date night, or a midweek bite. Make the Spot Neighborhood Grill your go-to. Sizzling burgers, crispy wings, street-style tacos, fresh salads, and shareables that disappear fast. Add an ice cold draft or a classic cocktail, and you've got your new neighborhood favorite. Wall-to-wall TVs so you won't miss a play, a patio made for Arizona evenings, and that friendly local vibe you love. Find us at 2 Valley locations, Scottsdale at 18,251 North Pima Road, and Glendale on 5350 West Bell Road. Dine in, grab takeout, or order ahead. Find us at thespotgrill.com for the menu, hours, directions, and daily specials. Again, that's thespotgrill.com. The Spot Neighborhood Grill. Great food, great people.
Turn your backyard into the best seat in the house with Curbalite, the app-controlled landscape curb that wraps your trees in color. Pick any hue, run preset scenes, even schedule your lights right from your phone. And on party night, make the lights dance to the music. Choose the traditional round tree ring or the contemporary square. Both install in minutes and link together for bigger, brighter displays. Connect up to 12 sets to frame your whole space. Built for real weather, Curbalite is tested in extreme heat and cold, so your glow goes year-round. Level up your nights, game day, holidays, or just because. Get Curbalite now at Curbalite.com. That's Curbalite.com.
The Weekend Warriors, taking sports talk radio to a new dimension. Listen to Ralph, Neil, Phil, and guests break down the news.
Isn't that what everybody wants?
The games.
If you like the NFL, this is your shot.
The matchups.
This will be the last year I think we'll ever see one 3,000 strikeout player, much less two facing each other.
The Weekend Warriors.
We are known to chant as well.
You're listening to the Weekend Warrior Show. It's time for hour number 2.
It's the Weekend
Warriors.
Warriors, come to play.
Yeah, here we go.
All right, everybody. It is 11 o'clock, a little bit after, actually, on this beautiful Saturday morning. I'm Ralph Romano, alongside my partners in crime. We've got legendary Philip Amorine and the legend, as you all know, Neil Lynch. I'm sorry, I lost my mind.
I'm his partner and his legend.
I have a partner legend. Ooh. And this is the Weekend Warriors.
Hey, kids, why don't you get involved in the show? We love our texters. We love the people who interact with us, and we want you to be a part of it. Well, that was a quick
That was horrible.
Yikes. Anyway, listen.
I saw you. You saw the train coming down the text.
There are two ways you can interact with the show. The first one is you can hit us up on the Weekend Warriors text line, 866-412-6366. What's that number again, Neil?
What is that number, Neil?
866-412-6366. Or you can comment on any of our live social media streams. That's X, that's YouTube, and that's the Book of Faces.
Oh. All right.
Well, speaking of Shedeur Sanders.
Oh, God. Yeah, because we were talking about him.
We were. Somebody just took a Shedeur. I do want to go back to.
Is that why it smelled in there? It was weird.
Yeah, wow. No, somebody's making a roast and it smells divine.
Something smells really good.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Like you are a lucky man, Ro.
I know.
All right, so we.
Physically.
Oh my God.
Moving on.
Yes. Speaking of Shedeur, as we mentioned, I do want to take just a walk.
Oh, jeez.
To the Browns Bengals game. And not even talk about Shedeur. That he's not the concentration of where this is going.
UFL.
Myles Garrett sets the sack record. First of all, do you guys? I find this to be fascinating. Do you guys buy into any of the validity of that Myles Garrett's sack record is any less legitimate because of the inclusion of the extra game?
Yes.
Oh wow,
absolutely. Wow. But that goes for records through time. I think they become less and less valuable.
I think that's a general issue over. I agree, and it's not picking on Myles Garrett at all. But I think that's true.
Yeah, I think it can go either way because even he said it in a divisional game, so that's a game that would not have been eliminated in a year of years past. Like it would have been just a random game that would have been gone. But that's not even where I want to focus on. What I want to focus on are the utmost asinine, whiny, petulant comments that came out of the Bengals from this, who would have not an ounce of class and respect, as has been demonstrated by their very own players, by Joe Burrow saying, I'm having thoughts of retiring. I'm having thoughts of living in a place where it's not it's not Cincinnati.
Good idea.
Because, no kidding. Because of just how dysfunctional this organization is. And it shows in moments like this to where the coach after the game comes up and has the gall, the gumption to come up and in full-throatedly say, we're playing for our lives out there. And I am just so irritated. I am so upset that they would stop the game when we're in a game-winning drive, potentially, under which you can't take that away from me. It's true.
Mm-hmm.
And they stopped the game. And then Jamar Chase has the ability to add on and say, well, I certainly hope whenever I catch 10 balls at the end of a season one day and I set that record that they'll stop the game for me. What are you talking about? I would have been surprised had they not stopped the game. Like first of all, you're complaining about we just beat the Bulldogs just beat us in Georgia, and all of a sudden they have a dog running around on the side of the field. Or oh my goodness, we just lost to Florida, and all of a sudden out in the audience they're doing gator claps. Like what is this? Oh my goodness, why is there a turkey on the side of the field? Oh, it couldn't be possibly because it's Thanksgiving. Hello, gain some awareness. Gain some awareness of where you are. Have some recognition of history. Talk about good sportsmanship. Had this game meant even the iota of importance that the Saints-Falcons game had attached to it, to where while it had no playoff implications for the very teams playing in it, it had it for others. I may have a inkling, an ounce of ability to offer some empathy and sympathy towards you saying, you know what, like, why are we stopping a game for something that is far more important? Perhaps your game meant nothing. This was your game. This was, dare I say, your season. This was certainly Myles Garrett's possibly lone career highlight that he will have in Cleveland. This could be the very most important thing that he does, certainly in his professional life. And you're over there whining like little babies, whining like little children, saying we're playing for our lives. By definition, you are not. Your life is gone. Your playoff life, you're lucky that you have cheap owners that have not fired you, because your performance and your what you have shown on the field, the results that you have merited, do not deserve for you to still hold and retain your job. It is simply because of a function of cheap ownership that does not like to pay people for not doing the jobs of which they are being paid for. That is it. So you want to talk about something about not being deserving? You do not deserve that moment to tarnish it in a way that is, especially for a divisional foe. My God.
So I watched that clip and I had a lot of the same reactions that Phil did. I will say this though, that it does speak to him. Like this is a thing, like this is a very common approach. Now I realize that as a head coach, you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about your game plan, and especially in his case, playing for his potentially his job at some point, and the fact that they have been underperforming and all the issues that are apparently taking place in the Bengals organization. So I totally get that. I do agree, maybe not to the extent that Phil does, because Phil is a documented Bengals hater. So I think that obviously colors your judgment just a tiny bit. However,
I just don't like spitters.
I will concede. Well, I mean, I don't know.
Wow, there's so many
I
places
think
to go with that.
depends on the context, honestly. But I agree with you that it was very petty for him to do that. The way he did it, he didn't have to do that. Do I think it's an egregious offense that requires him to be, tarred and feathered in a public square? No.
Well, I don't think.
But
I
think
he deserves to be fired. I don't think he deserves to be fired over these comments.
I think it speaks more to who he is as a person. And yeah, it does kind of tarnish it, right? Like they're talking about it. All he had to say was, yeah, that was a great moment. Congratulations to him. And then move on to what, like they teach you that when you're doing politics, right? In politics, when you're asked a question by a reporter, they teach you don't answer the question that was asked. Answer the question that you wish they asked. And that's what you should do. And that's not what he did. And that was a bad look. So he clearly needs some more media training. But otherwise, it was annoying. It wasn't a big deal. And the only reason why anybody really knows about it is because you'd said it to us in the text chat, I think, or you brought it up.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh yeah. But if you had not done that, I wouldn't have even known.
Ralph, this is not baseball. There are so few there are so few milestones and records that maybe I'm the ignorant one, but that I am aware of who holds the record, of the importance it is to the league. I mean, that I can only think of a few season records and moments that would stop a game that are significant enough. I mean, they stopped a game for Drew Brees accomplishing like a career goal of passing yards. We saw Peyton Manning. I mean, obviously it's inherent with a natural game stoppage of getting the season most touchdowns thrown. I get it, but this is one of those high watermarks of a career. This is one of those that very well if he was not already going to be going as a first ballot Hall of Famer into Canton, Ohio as a Hall of Famer, this would be the case.
Right.
This alone is like, this is number one on your Wikipedia page. This is number one on your like here lies Myles Garrett sack leader. Weird, flex, but whatever. But to somehow lessen that significance feels incredibly robbing of a moment.
In all reality, I really don't care.
Yeah.
But I would say as a coach, and I've coached in the past. It would annoy me if they stop a game for that. Especially if my team is toward the end of the game and they've got something going on, it would annoy me. It would bother me. I wouldn't be in favor of it. Don't know that I would have a fit about it, but I personally wouldn't like it.
That's the thing. Use it as motivation.
I guess they should have told him before the game that this was a possibility, and they didn't do that. I think that's a problem.
Yeah, the fact that they didn't, I think that's so if you're going to give any kind of credence to the argument, I do think that the Browns could have said something and they didn't. Because like whenever, again, using the baseball analogy,
the officials.
Like when Kershaw was going to get his 3,000th strikeout, you better believe that when they had their meeting, they told that the other organization, look, this could happen, so be ready. And they were cool with it, right? So I think...
And they didn't do that in this situation. And I think that was the mistake, is the official should have got everyone together and said, this is what's going to happen when this happens, if it happens, just so you all know we're all good. Okay, thanks.
Now, if they had informed him and then he went on that tirade...
That's different.
Yeah, now he's a complete jerk.
Agreed.
Complete nincompoop.
Can we talk about complete nincompoops going forward?
Let's go.
Let's do it.
So Black Monday, right?
Whoo!
25% of the league does not have head coaches right now. Now, they didn't all happen on Monday, but...
Side note of what you just said. Also, I found it very odd that it's a unique cycle of coaching cycles in that it wasn't just Black Monday. Like it was Black Tuesday,
Sunday,
Black
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
It took a
even
while
yesterday, I thought.
Was Mike McDaniel yesterday?
Right. Black Week. Wow, we are getting it's Black Week.
What I feel like we should do is we should have talked about this before. I didn't think of it till just now. We should have had like a Sarah McLachlan song playing softly in the background while we announced the names, kind of like an in memoriam, like Mike McDaniel, John Harbaugh,
Let's see if I can help you.
Pete Carroll, Raheem Morris, and Terry Fontenot.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Kevin Stefanski, Jonathan Gannon, Brian Daboll, and Brian Callahan.
I do want to. I've got
Thank you, by the way.
Can we talk about Jonathan Gannon for a second?
Yes. Let's.
That's all indulged.
So we've all been on the same page with Jonathan Gannon that he's done a terrible job.
Yes.
I believe he got fired the moment he slapped Amari DiMercado.
I believe he got fired the moment he got hired. But anyway,
wow.
I watched the presser with Bidwell and Monty Austin.
It wasn't Gannon. Gannon was gone.
Right?
That key card don't work anymore.
This was the most disgusting display by an owner and a GM that I've ever seen. And kudos to the reporters because they asked some tough questions.
Yeah.
And they attacked. They didn't let them off the hook.
These were some fair weather reporters. These were some journalists.
I've got two examples of that. So this is the question towards Bidwell. I want you to hear this one.
Where did this go wrong in your eyes? How did this happen? I think it simply gets down to wins and losses, and I don't want to look through every play or every game or everything along those lines. At the end of the day, it's pretty simple. It boils down to wins and losses, and we let too many of them get away. But I think he built a great foundation.
What?
When Monty talks about culture.
What?
That team first culture is alive and well here. I think
Which team?
One of the silver linings with the injuries, we've got a lot of young players that got a lot of play time this year, and they'll be ready to go next year. And so I think that's going to benefit us in the future. And so that is a silver lining as well.
He's built a great foundation and a team culture. This guy is so disconnected from his own organization, it's not even funny. What culture have you created? He came in and destroyed your culture over what it was 3 years ago. We've talked about this before. The culture has actually been destroyed, and there's no foundation. It's terrible. How does this guy get away with saying this stuff? This is a selling the team moment.
Well, he gets away with this stuff because, and listen, there's already calls by a lot of the Arizona media and a lot of Arizona fans to sell the team. So,
and he should.
Yeah.
This guy has no business owning this organization. They'll never be successful under this.
Well, and
ever.
let's remember the NFL Players Association at the beginning of last year.
Oh wow!
Did their ranking of the best and worst organizations, and who was the very dead last?
The Cardinals.
The Cardinals. So tell me again about that team culture and that organizational culture.
Great friggin' point,
Neil.
Great
Fantastic point.
So
why are you surprised?
Let's listen to clown number 2 real quick. So then Monty's up there, and I will say that the reporters peppered this guy pretty hard.
Yeah.
And I was like, kudos to the reporters actually finally going after this guy because he's an absolute bozo. So here's Monty.
Specifically, do you feel like you have not done well enough in constructing this roster?
Well, I think every decision that's made is, I understand what this job is, and every decision is going to be looked at. And you could have took this guy, or you should have signed this guy, and that's reality. That's what 31 other teams go through as well. And so,
You feel like you've constructed a roster that's good enough to win with?
I think that from what we've done here in 3 years, that we've certainly flipped what this roster looked like 3 years ago.
Sure did.
I believe that we have a talented group of young players. Players that have played a lot. There's no
because they have no choice.
There's no replication of actually playing on the field. We have a big group of players that have done that, and we have to continue to do better. We have to do better at developing players. We have to do a better job of player acquisition.
This guy's a clown.
Well, I think that when he decides to run for public office, he already knows how to talk to the media. That's perfect because that's how you do it.
And he has no clue what his job is. He's so bad at it. One of the reporters, he made a comment about how they have this great foundation of great players, Pro Bowl players. And one of the reporters called him out on it and said, can you tell me who these great players are that you're excited about, these Pro Bowl players? Because I'm just curious.
And what he probably said was, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to talk about it.
He gave a bunch of names and people are like, yeah, but these are not top tier guys.
Kicker, right?
All bad teams do.
They have a Pro Bowl water boy on the sideline. And he's really good at administering the Gatorade bottle. I feel
one reporter actually asked Bidwell,
name is Bichet,
looking right at Bidwell with Monty sitting there going, why does he still have his job? He goes, it's all on Gannon. He goes, I don't think so. He's have much responsibility, if not more than Gannon. Why is he still sitting here? And I was like, congrats, that's a great question.
I do love the media, both national and Arizona based, for calling for making them or trying to make them accountable. At this point, they've got literally nothing to lose. And so why not just why not just go after him at that point? I love them for doing that.
I do
I
too.
appreciate it.
Oh, Trey McBride.
He's the only one.
Yeah, I was like, they don't
That's
have
it.
Yeah, that's it.
I mean, Buda Baker was great, but he's old now. I mean, it's Trey McBride. That's
Trey
it.
McBride. That's it.
There's no one else. Their line is terrible offensively and defensively. Their quarterback's a joke. I mean, the running back Connor got hurt, but they've got really no depth there. They have no depth, right? So he made the point of, these other teams that made changes 2 years ago, they're in the playoffs this week. He's talking about Seattle. He's talking about guys like them, right? He's talking about Denver, where they made changes 2-3 years ago and they're in the playoffs and we're not. Well, you keep pitching the wrong coach. You got the wrong GM. You don't have player depth. You're not building your roster.
Well,
your roster's terrible.
Ironically, the lone place of depth that they have was one that they needed to immediately go to, which was Jacoby Brissett, because the quarterback that they had in place, and when they talk about a team culture, certainly it does not fit because of Kyler Murray. I know. I do wonder if one is saddled with Kyler Murray. How that works. I mean,
they didn't take him off the table. They did ask about him,
yeah,
and they wouldn't commit to him coming back next year. So that was the only positive thing out of that whole. If you're a Cardinal fan, in my opinion,
is that a positive?
Yeah, he needs to go.
Yeah, that's a thought.
It's time to start over.
It is time to start over. I don't know if this is the cycle to do it. I think that you can possibly get something in trade value for Kyler Murray. We've discussed this.
Yeah,
I think we all believe that he will be traded.
I believe.
And honestly, I think that it is possible given the dearth of quarterback talent and the lack of options to pivot to in both the draft and free agency. I think that they will actually be able to find somebody to take Kyler Murray.
So Bitter Dolphin fans on Facebook says the McDaniel firing, and obviously big Dolphin fan, the McDaniel firing was not much better. The organization sent up to podium by himself on Monday with not even the dreaded vote of confidence. I'm good with the firing McDaniel, but that was dirty by the organization. I like Daniel overcoming addiction. I wish him the best.
Before,
well, he wished him the best.
Yeah, well, there's the overcoming. That's hilarious.
He did.
We don't. That is not public. That is record.
We don't know that for sure. He was a cokehead living in Miami next to Michael Irvin. We're not 100% sure.
We don't know. I'm curious before we get, because we do have a bit here where we want to kind of
rank them,
the openings. I'm curious, which, if any, you can say none, do you believe were mistake firings? Because I would say that the two that exist for me is the McDaniels firing, because really, I think you're firing a coach to hire a coach just to fire, because they are taking a job to be a pigeon stool, right? Like where they're just getting hired just to be. If you remember the hire, I can't even remember what his name was, but the coach who was hired directly before D'Amico Ryans was hired for the Texans. They had a 1-year coach that came out of nowhere that everybody all but knew. This is a coach to just usher you in for 1 year until you get a viable candidate, until you get a quarterback, what have you. He's going to get them a number 1 pick, hopefully, and whatever. I think that Dolphins job, you're not going to be able to do much better than Mike McDaniel. To be quite frank, I think McDaniel will be a revelation as possibly hot side note. Could you think of a better fit for him than the offensive coordinator for the Detroit Lions job?
No, he'd be perfect.
That'd be perfect. And that would be a marriage made in
But he's
heaven.
going to Seattle, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, he'd be perfect.
Wow, look at you already firing. Jeez.
Well, no, not that.
But so I think that was a mistake, because I don't think you can do much better. And why hire somebody else to just be fired? And then the other one that I would go so far as to say it was probably a mistake was the Browns.
I agree with that. Stefanski's one of mine. Yes.
Yeah, where I don't know that Stefanski's bad. I truly believe that that's an organizational failure.
Yes.
And I don't know that Stefanski is the reason for that to be bad.
Stefanski was a mistake to fire him. I agree with that. And my other one, and you're probably not going to agree with this, is Harbaugh. I wouldn't have gotten rid of Harbaugh.
I do disagree with that.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't know you would.
But that being said,
who's better than him? Who are you going to get?
Yeah. Well, the thing about the Ravens, though, is they're one of those teams where they're the rare team that's they're going to hire the Minnesota head coach that I don't know off the top of my head right now. That
I don't either. Frazier?
Defensive line coach. The Minnesota defensive line coach that comes out of nowhere. That is just nobody's heard of him, but he has one connection, and all of a sudden he's going to be there for the next 22 years.
But all the injuries and everything they went through this year, and they were one kick away from being in the playoffs. I mean, I get it. I do get it. But we have to look at Lamar had a down year. He was hurt this year.
Yes.
I mean, that's a big part of their team right there. You put him in there healthy all year. They're in the playoffs, and we're talking about them winning the division.
He wasn't fired because of this year, though, Ralph. I mean, Neil, I saw a stat that was the last 5 years, most blown leads.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Ravens, secondarily, it's the Cardinals. But it's Ravens with 16 games with 5 minutes left to go and blowing a lead. It's the Ravens by far and away.
Okay.
It's you keep looking at the Ravens and they keep falling well below expectations set by their roster construction.
I feel like that it was for Harbaugh, it was mostly organizational fatigue. They just got tired of him, right? They got tired.
18 years, second longest tenured head coach.
They can't really, it's tough to blame any one thing. So it's like, unfortunately, the coach takes the fall on that. So it was just organizational fatigue is all I can say. If they kept him around, it wouldn't have mattered. And who are they going to get that's better? Who knows? We'll see. But you know what? Harbaugh's going to land somewhere pretty quickly. In
He's
fact,
the hottest one out there right now.
I will say
he is kind of hot.
Talk about fatigue. I am very, very much. While I respect Harbaugh and I think that he can be a culture setter, I don't buy that he's going to win a Super Bowl somewhere else. It hasn't happened in NFL history. You can't find a head coach that has won a Super Bowl in one location and won another in another. It does not exist.
What? Didn't Andy Reid?
He got to the Super
He got
Bowl.
there. He didn't win.
Yes.
That's
Remember
right.
Donovan McNabb threw up all over himself and Terrell Owens. I mean, the game close. But
so with all this, I agree with you. With all this said, let's rank them. What are the best jobs, the worst jobs? So I'm really curious. Neil, did you rank them? Do you have the 1 to 8?
I do.
Let's hear yours.
Oh, here's my of best to worst coach openings.
Yeah.
All right. Let me pull up my list here.
We'll start at 8.
Here, let me start so that way Neil can. But I'll go. Did you have it?
I got it.
Oh, go.
So in my estimation, it is of course, the Cardinals are the absolute worst.
So that's your 8.
Absolute. Number 8. Number 7 is the Browns.
Okay.
And number 6 is the Raiders.
Okay.
5 is the Titans. 4 is the Dolphins.
Okay.
3 is the Falcons. 2 is the Giants because it's the Giants. It's the New York Football Giants. And then 1 is the Ravens. That's how I have them rated.
That's not bad. I'm a little different than you, but go ahead.
I think I'm way different than you.
Okay, you go.
Number 8, I have as the Dolphins, simply because.
Wow.
Here's the thing: you are stuck with Tua. You are stuck with Tua.
He's gone.
You can't get rid of him, man. Again, this is coming from a Broncos fan who had to deal with Russell Wilson, and we are the lone exception. We are the lone team.
They're going to take the hit.
I don't know how that's even possible. There's no option to turn to.
Okay.
So I got the Dolphins because you are essentially being hired to be fired as number 8. Number 7, coming in hot, is the Raiders.
Okay.
Because again, I don't believe in Fernando Mendoza being a marriage with the Raiders specifically. Number 6, Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Cardinals, that's a cluster altogether. Number 5 is the Browns because at least you have a legendary.
He won't be. If he's there next year, it'll be as a
defensive player. They said that.
That was a nice pivot.
Number 4, I have the Giants. Mostly this is in the middle because Jackson Dart cannot stay out of the blue tent. Like I would have more faith in him if he was able to stay.
I'm concerned about his health.
I'm really concerned about that. But you got to like that they do have a lot of talent. They were just injured this year. Number 3, I had the Falcons. They perpetually underperformed. If you can find some way to just have them all perform at the same time without stepping in front of themselves and tripping and just everything else. And they're also in a bad division. Like this is the very division where they tied for the lead. They just were ineligible to win it. So they are a tied division leader worthy team.
Well, Raheem Morris has proven twice now he's not a head coach. It's time to move on from him.
I
as a
thought
head
that was
coach.
a curious thing. He's
a good coordinator. He'll be a defensive coordinator somewhere.
He'll be a good defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
So that's number 3. Number 2, and I'm shocked that you had it as low as you did. I have the Titans because you have a number 1 overall quarterback who did not look to be like the mass problem. You at least have a franchise quarterback.
Okay.
Now, if you're taking that job, you at least have a quarterback, which you cannot say for a lot of these jobs. And then number 1, I think we're all in agreement, Ravens.
Yeah.
The Ravens.
I'm at. I have Cardinals as 8, which I think is the worst franchise in football right now, and they need to get rid of the ownership. They need. They just need to blow it up. That's by far the worst franchise in football right now. I have the Titans down at 7. I'm just not a fan. I think they need a lot of help. I'm not as high on Cam Ward as you are as far as this franchise quarterback. I think he's a miss as well, but whatever. 6, I have the Giants. There's just a lot of stability issues with that organization, not only in the players and everywhere, ownership.
Since Coughlin, the longest they've had a coach is 2 years.
Yep. I have the Raiders at 5. I do think they'll get Mendoza. I don't think he's a fit there, but I think they're going to have to figure out how they're going to change to make it work for them, because I think he's the best quarterback coming out of college by far.
If you get an offensive-minded coach, you got Bowers, Genty, and Mendoza there.
Yes.
You just need a line.
You need a line. So you got to draft a line.
And they have free agent money to spend.
Yes, they do. At 4, I have the Falcons. Again, I think Raheem Morris is the problem. He's a 2-time failure as a head coach. There's a great foundation there. That team could get better really fast with what they have.
I would agree.
Place. Number 3, again, the Browns. I think the Browns is not a bad situation right now. You've got to find your quarterback. I'm not sure who that is. It's not Shador. I know that there's talk about Watson coming back next year. That would be interesting to me.
What?
Does Watson make the comeback next year? And I think you're going to see Watson probably as their number 1 next year.
There's going to be some comeback somewhere, that's for sure.
Look, before all this happened, Watson was an extremely talented quarterback. So can he get his form and come back and be there? I don't know. Number 2, I have the Dolphins. It's a good market. Ownership.
Number 2. Wait, I'm so sorry. What?
I've got the Dolphins at number 2. I think there's stuff there. That's a good market. Why
did Mike McDaniel slip you? My God.
I wouldn't have fired Mike.
A Mickey.
And I think we all have the Ravens at 1. I think we all think that roster is solid. So
sneaky addendum, because I think it's the only team that's kind of at risk of firing as much as I think. Well, I think that there's 2 teams that could potentially fire their head coach if they were to be abysmal in the first round of the playoffs. Number 1 would be the Eagles.
Well, you get off that. That's just your own personal preference. They're not going anywhere.
Boy, hello, Kettle. I'm Pot.
Anyway, let me tell you, if you were Howie Roseman, and all of a sudden they get blown out 41-3 about those 49ers that looked pathetic against the Seahawks, I'd have thoughts. But number 2 would be the Bills.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, Sean McDermott, he is actually
lose first round. He's out.
A very quiet hot seat. It is
it's not quiet.
I don't know.
He loses first round. He's out. He knows it. Everyone knows it. And I think he's going to lose first round.
I know. I'm kind of there with you. So, and if the Bills job comes open, I actually think that takes the cake. That is the number 1 pick.
Do you guys have any predictions on who may hire who?
I don't think that there's going to be any college hirings. I think if there was one, the potential would be Ryan Day from Ohio State. I think that he's accomplished what he needed to in Ohio State. I think he's got play calling. He's well noted first round of the playoffs withstanding. Well noted play calling ability. I think he's on the right side of the ball, and he might just be tired of getting just absolutely second hand guessed, over there in Ohio State. I don't think he'd leave for another college job. He's been hankering and hungering for a NFL job in the past.
Who do you think gets Harbaugh? Because Harbaugh's got demands. His demands are he wants to be able to pick the GM. He wants more control, and I know it's a good amount of money. He wants $10 million set aside for his staff, and I think he wants a lot more than that for himself.
This may be crazy. I do think it's the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals nab him.
He would want Monty out then. He wants to pick the GM. He's made that very clear.
Then it's either them or the Dolphins. Dolphins, my goodness, get you somebody who loves you as much as Stephen Ross.
Well, here's the thing too, is that as of earlier today, or as of late last night, the Cardinals have not had any interview requests with Harbaugh.
No,
it's been all a bunch of slugs and a bunch of defensive and a bunch of coordinators. Exactly. So yeah, there are some good coordinators. That just tells me that the well, again, this gets back to the Cardinals aren't serious about being competitive, and Bidwell's an idiot.
My interpretation is that nobody is really they're Rooney ruling everybody out so that way that they can actually viably either negotiate contracts on the DL, or they can be available to strike first. So right now, I don't think anybody's really interviewing the actual candidates, is my thought. The only one that I can think of that might be the hottest. There are two coaching candidates that I think have viability that you might not think of. Is Brian Flores, who apparently has a package deal with Brian Daboll. So I think obviously then that takes him out of the Giants job, which I don't know, whatever. And then the other one who I just have a lot of respect for and has proven himself time and time again. I think even from a Seahawks perspective, you have to give him a lot of respect. Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh has definitely earned assistant coach of the year.
It's tough. He just didn't do anything with the Jets, but is that his fault or is that organizational?
Do you remember where they were? They were one game back from the division when he got fired from the New York Jets. Their defense was performing, and after he left, sank like a rock.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I don't know. We'll see. I agree with you. He's gonna get a job somewhere. Just like I think Kubiak's gone from. I think Seattle loses Kubiak. I think he's gonna go somewhere too, which is a shame.
It's very odd, right?
I don't want him to leave, but I think he will. He's a great offensive mind. I mean, I don't know if he can be a head coach, but I guess we'll find out.
And good luck to whoever the Browns get. Who wants that?
Nobody. That'll be somebody.
I thought you were in the running for the head coach of the Cleveland Browns, so you can get closer to your boy, legendary.
I still think it's a good job. I just think there needs to be the backing of the head of the organization to say, I want to make these changes, and you need to be okay with it. My first change would be the Sanders shoot show gone. That crap needs to go. I don't want that in my organization. I need it to be real.
Well, supposedly, have you seen the rumor mills? Is that Shador is all but entrenched as the starter next year?
No, he's not.
Supposedly,
did you see his numbers in 7 games? Dude, they were terrible.
Trust me, I've seen them.
They were absolutely horrendous.
I've been keeping us.
I've been hearing a lot of noise that Watson's going to be the number 1 next year. He's coming back, and it's going to be his team. Dude, he makes so much money. They have to do something with him.
He's going to make a comeback.
And he's going to be healthy. And he was a talented quarterback before all this garbage came down. He was very good in this league. Remember, everybody wanted him. So we all wanted him back
except
then.
the massage therapist.
By the way, I have them in tiers in case you were wondering. I have the Giants and Ravens in the flawed but enviable tier.
Flawed but enviable.
I have you have a QB in place tier of Titans, Dolphins, and Falcons. Whether or not you buy into it, you know, you have a QB in place. And then the diuretic dysfunction is the Browns, Cardinals, and Raiders.
Diuretic dysfunction.
Yeah.
All right. Should we just go to the picks?
Let's do it.
That'll kind of lead
so
us.
Excited.
Are you excited?
I am. I have some very controversial picks here.
Oh.
And I know I'll get ripped on because y'all are incredible football minds, and I'm just some schmuck. I'm just some idiot who just blabbles on and on about things. So, whatever. I'm just having fun with it at this point. I did not use the Magic 8 Ball this time, by the way.
Yay.
I actually made these picks myself.
Yes.
All right. So let me go to the picks.
Where did the regular
results.
season end on the picks?
You're in front still.
Good. I like being in front.
I just can't.
Yeah, you do.
I just can't.
You don't have to read mine. I'm at least 12 behind, 13 behind, 14 behind. Couple of 13, 14 behind.
I believe Phil has a 2-game lead.
Did I gain another one? Because I know
You
I
did.
I mean,
Yeah.
some of these games are just so incredibly hard.
I'm
to
officially out of the running. It's pretty much between Ralph and Phil at this point. So.
I'm pretty sure that I picked the Steelers against all odds.
All
and then you
right.
picked the Ravens.
So last week, you guys were both 4-3 last week, and I was 3-4. So you picked up a game. Yes. All right. So going into this week, Phil has 70 victories. I have 68, and then Neil has 58.
Yep. Way behind.
2-game lead. Let's start
12
off.
behind.
Game 1 would be the number 5 seeded, which is ridiculous, Rams against the number 4 seeded, which is ridiculous, Panthers. This is obviously in
everyone
in
at once.
Charlotte, North Carolina. I think they're like a 10.5 point favorite.
Was it 11?
in this
Has
game.
it creeped up to 11?
Probably has. All right.
So Neil,
let's all right. Listen, I think we all agree on this. Everybody on 3. 1, 2, 3. Rams.
Panthers.
Shut up.
Shut up.
You're an idiot.
I'm taking the Rams.
Of course you are. Yeah, it's the Rams.
Are you? I'm going so far as to are any of us taking the Panthers on the points?
Look, here's the deal, and he's right. It's raining. It's going to be a very wet field, and if you think about the last time that they were in Carolina, it was a very wet field, and Carolina pulled it out. So
yes.
I get it. The Rams should destroy the Panthers, but do not be surprised if somehow, some way, they find a way and make this a game.
They won't.
This is hope against hope.
It is hope against hope.
Yeah, not a chance.
All right. The game after that, the Saturday night prime game is the number 7 seeded Packers against the number 2 seeded Bears, where it has been snowing and raining this morning and it's cold.
The hardest game to pick for me.
Yeah. Packers are a 1.5 point favorite on the road. So the money shifted in this game. If you watch the money, the Bears opened up about a 2-point favorite, and then the money all went to Green Bay. So Green Bay is favorite going into this game, going into Chicago. Neil, I have to ask you, the resident Packer fan, how you feeling about this game?
So here's how I feel about this game. It's a coin flip game. It's obviously a divisional game. Or it's divisional opponents.
Third time in playoff history that these two teams have met.
Yes,
it is crazy.
Yeah, it is. Actually, it is pretty crazy. I think the Vikings and the Packers have met more in the postseason than the Bears have. Anyway, I think that because of the long-standing rivalry, this is the longest rivalry, I think, arguably in all of professional sports. I think that the history they have with each other, I think the history, going back to whenever, this is going to be a tough game, a very close game. It doesn't matter what the records are. It doesn't matter that the Packers are a 7 seed. Doesn't matter the Bears are 2 seed. It's going to be a tough game. But I am going to go so far as to say that I suspect that the Green Bay Packers, who are not going to go very far in the playoffs, are going to have one last hurrah this season, one last guffaw, one last ta-ra-ra gundier, and I think that they are going to beat the Chicago Bears in a stunning upset. Now, this is not any kind of indictment on the Bears. I think they're a great organization. They did exactly what I said they would. They started off a little rusty, and then they turned it around in midseason and are a great team, and they're going to be an excellent team next year, but I think that they're just going to get a little bit over their skis, and I think the Packers have just enough and know them well enough to eke out what I would consider an upset. Okay. So I picked the Packers.
So
go Pack, go!
Yeah, the Bears have shown, especially in last week's game against the Lions, that they do have fatal flaws. In watching both games, it felt like the Packers. Obviously, they won the first game, and they held pace and control of that game in its entirety. And even in the second game, with a backup quarterback, they very much felt like they were the better team, and they lost just on an absolute miracle. I got to go with the Packers. I can see where the money goes here. You're getting a quarterback in his first playoff appearance. You're getting Ben Johnson after sustaining all this success, getting a number 2 seed. Fantastic. A divisional rivalry where it's already knotted up 1-1. I got to go with the Packers, even though they are on the road. It feels a little dangerous. Let's go Pack, go.
Yeah, this is a coin flip.
Truly,
no doubt. My gut says the Bears win ugly.
That's where I was at first.
Right, too. That's where my gut is, but my head says the Packers are going to win this game. So I'm going to go with my head. I'm going to go Packers too. I really want to go Bears. I think it'd be a good opportunity to gain a game on you, but I'm with you guys. I just think the Packers are.
I love when you go with your head, Ralph.
They're the better team right now. But my gut keeps saying the Bears are going to win an ugly game.
Yeah, your gut says that your boyfriend Caleb Williams is going to win. I understand. I appreciate you. I appreciate you stifling your primal
I will say
sexual
this.
urges to go with Caleb Williams
next year. Bears are going to be legit.
Oh, forget about it. Yeah, next year I'm all in.
I mean, the Packers are going to be better too because they'll get Kraft back. They'll get him right away, and then they'll have Parsons back at some point. But I agree though. The Bears are going to be much more formidable next year.
It'll be a bear market.
Go to the Sunday morning game. We've got the number 6 seeded Bills at the number 3 seeded Jaguars. The Bills are a 1.5 favorite in Jacksonville.
I have no understanding of why that's possible. Can I give you a reason why I think the Jags are going to win? And it has nothing to do with what you think it's going to be.
Give us your reason.
Bills are coming in with kicker problems. Their kicker's injured and a little gimpy. And then Cam Little last week made a 67-yard field goal. There's no weather here. Like, if they go to, I am terrified if they go to Mile High against the Broncos, and Cam Little has the ability to kick a 70-yard field goal, which I do not think is outrageous. Like, just on those alone, if all you need to do is to get 10 yards after a kickoff, and you're already in 3 points, you've netted in 3 points, that is such an advantage.
Yeah.
The Bills are coming in with an injured Josh Allen. I think the Jags are going to win this because they aren't going to put Trevor Lawrence in a position to where he's going to be at risk of losing it for them. I'm going to go with the Jaguars in a crazy way, and I think that it kind of starts their route to a Super Bowl appearance. Let's go Jags.
I think the Jags are the only team that could beat Denver, in my opinion.
I can agree with that.
Did you said is Allen hurt?
If you remember, he injured, what was it, his leg now 3 weeks ago. He played the Eagles game a little gimpy, which is partly why he threw the two-point touchdown as opposed to just running it in. You've seen how they've limited his rushing ability in the past couple weeks. Last week he didn't even play. That's why it was Mitch Trubisky for all but the first play of the game. He's injured.
With all that said, I'm taking the Bills. I just think Josh Allen, this is a big game for McDermott.
Very big.
It's a big game for Allen. If they lose this game, that's the end. Their window's closed.
Yes.
And I don't think Josh Allen is ready to let that window close. I think the Jaguars should win this game, but I don't think they will. I'm going to go with my gut on this one and take the Bills.
I wait for the game. I'm going against my gut on this.
Good game.
Yeah. Good
Go ahead.
I do not trust the Bills.
Yeah,
that's the bottom line. I don't trust them. And I think the Jags have a lot to play for in this case to prove to a lot of people that they're good. And listen, I am secretly a fan of Duval. So listen, like I said, ultimately I don't trust the Bills. So I'm picking the Jags.
Okay.
So
it's a good game.
The window for the Bills, I love Bills Mafia, but the windows for the Bills closed.
This would officially close it. I think officially.
But here's the thing. Josh Allen already won because he knocked up Haley Steinfeld. He's going to procreate.
I'm just going to go. I think
that man won.
I think the experience the Bills have is going to help them win this game. And remember, the Jaguars are fresh.
What experience is that? Losing in the playoffs?
Doesn't matter. They've been there. They have.
And also, they're not good on the road. I want to say that they're 0-4 on the road, which feels mostly like a Mahomes stat, but it's also a Joe Burrow stat. Like whenever they meet any sort of strife in the playoffs, they fold.
I know I'm going to regret this pick, but I have to.
I don't feel great about it either, to be honest with you.
Okay, let's go to the next game, the Sunday afternoon game. Man, there's so much football this weekend.
It's so great.
The number 6 seeded 49ers against the number 3 seeded Eagles. The Eagles are a 5.5 point favorite in this game at home. I'll go first.
Okay.
I think this will be the Seahawk effect. I think the Niners are so badly beat up after last week.
Wow.
That they're going to go in and get their butts kicked. I don't think they survived this game. I just think they're too beat up. I think if you looked at Brock Purdy at the end of that game, I know he's going to get up. I think Neil was the one that made the point. They looked like they just wanted the game to end. And I feel that's going to carry over into this game. And the Eagles have a lot to play for here at home. They've got to try to, get to that next game because of winning the championship last year. They don't want to go 1-out, right?
Yeah.
I just think they're going to be better prepared and better ready for this game. So I'm taking the Eagles.
I agree with you, Ralph. I don't trust the Niners either. And obviously there's injury issues and whatnot, but I just, and listen, this is not any kind of endorsement of the Eagles. Okay. Believe me, I am not a Sirianni fan like Phil is. Okay. But I'll tell you this. I agree with you. I think the Eagles have just enough. I think they're going to beat the Niners. I think it's a one and done for them. I think they're limping into the playoffs. They back into the playoffs. They don't show any potential for momentum. Even if they get really healthy all of a sudden, I don't think it matters. I pick Eagles.
Okay.
Lest it ever be denied, I don't want anybody to think I'm not a bang guy. However, I do believe
he is a bang guy. Actually,
I am a bang guy.
Ask Sora. I'm sorry, sports girly.
But I do think that the Eagles are going to win here. I think that while I don't think it's going to be enough to get them far in the playoffs, they do have a level to their offense that has yet to truly be unlocked that they have access to. If you take a look at years past, what perennially gets unlocked, and it's akin to what the Patrick Mahomes effect is, where all of a sudden Jalen Hurts unlocks his rushing ability in the playoffs. He has purposefully set it aside to where he unleashes it in the playoffs. You see, I think he's second all time in playoff rushing, leading yards gained by a quarterback in the playoffs. And so I'm going to have to say that the 49ers lose here to the Eagles, who are at home, are rested after a week off. This is a matchup that they enjoy. Christian McCaffrey, much better for you. Thanks for throwing it to the Wolves and spamming the Christian McCaffrey button this year. Next year might be your year.
And I think that the Seahawks showed that you can run against this team, and I think Barkley's going to have a huge game.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's the difference.
Actually, that one I don't know that I agree with, but
let's go to the Sunday night game. So the number 7 seeded Chargers are at the number 2 seeded Patriots. Patriots are a 3.5 point favorite in this game, Neil.
Can you pause the music for a second? Just pause it. If you can pause it.
I can
just turn it down.
Yeah, sure.
So this is a very controversial pick. I think we all agree that it feels like the Patriots, I mean, you can't pick who you play, right? You can't pick your schedule.
Sure.
It feels like they've played a lot of soft opponents. So they're a very soft, good team coming into the playoffs.
Sure.
And the Chargers, there is no reason statistically that they should beat the Patriots. But every playoff run has a Cinderella team. And I am picking the San Diego Superchargers to defeat the New England Patriots in an absolute upset. It doesn't make any sense, but I'm telling you, that's what, hey, we got to give this a second to mature. Hang on. Let's all groove for a moment here. We'll just get to the bump here. Here we go.
Oh, I'm already bumped. There it is.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so that's my pick, and it's controversial. And I actually went on to TikTok a couple nights ago with my predictions, and I was getting roasted by everybody for this pick. So I think I listen. It doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't happen. But this season's been so crazy. Why not us? Why not now? Phil?
The very reason the Chargers are the number 7 seed is the very reason why I'm scared to make this pick. However,
oh no,
I'm with Neil on this.
No.
I'm picking the Chargers.
San Diego.
What will doom the Chargers is what has doomed them all year in their losses is that offensive line is horrible. It is horrific. However, I cannot deny the effect of a big-time quarterback coming off of a big-time year facing anybody in the playoffs his first year. That is just a real effect that has historically happened. You see things get ramped up. The Chargers have a tremendous defense with which to stymie and confuse Drake May. I just have to believe that the Los Angeles Chargers are a team that have the veteran presence and moxie with which to overcome what we all predicted would be an up-and-coming New England Patriots team before the year that is overachieved those preseason expectations to a stellar degree that I think will use this as a stepping stone going into next season. I will go Chargers.
I understand why you're both doing it, and I just don't know what Charger team shows up.
Who's fronted
that I agree.
The New England Patriots are frauds.
My problem is I don't know which Charger team shows up for this game.
That's true.
And that's the big problem. It's going to be cold. I'm going to give the Pats one game. I'm going to say they win this game. I don't think they win beyond this, but I'm going to give them this game. I think this is a stepping stone for their future. I think May has a good game. I think they pull it out. I don't trust the inconsistency that the Chargers are, and that's my problem. So I'm taking the Pats.
Fair enough.
All right. Game 6, the final game, which is on a Monday night, which is interesting that they're doing a Monday night
Monday
game,
night football game of the season.
You have the number 5 seeded Texans at the number 4 seeded Steelers on Monday night. Right now, the Texans on the road are the 2.5 point favorite in this game. I'll start this.
Okay.
I think the Texans defense is going to be way too much for that offense of the Steelers. I just don't trust Aaron Rodgers. I think DK's back for this game, but that defense should be able to put so much pressure on Aaron Rodgers, and he can't move. And I think this could be a huge game for the Texans defense. My fear is CJ Stroud, even though he is 2-0 in the playoffs. He's my biggest fear because I don't trust him. He hasn't been good this year or last year. But I think the team itself is good enough defensively to win a game like this against a team like the Steelers that, to me, is just not that impressive of a team. I'm going to take the Texans defensively to win this game.
I'm with you as far as picking the Texans. However, I truly have worries and concerns about the Texans. Their offense looked as unimpressive as they possibly could have against a Indianapolis Colts team that gave them all that they could handle, both from a defensive standpoint as well as from the offense. It was very underwhelming. And I think that the Texans are a sneaky Super Bowl team. Weirdly enough, my Super Bowl representative comes from a division that I don't necessarily fully buy into, which is the AFC South. I think if it's not the Jaguars, it comes from the Houston Texans, both of which are teams that I don't necessarily believe in. However, Aaron Rodgers had his moment. They had their playoff momentary shine in what was a regular season game that felt everything that was a playoff moment. DK Metcalf is back, yes. However, it's the rare time in sports that I feel that the presence of a great player demands attention, and it's to the detriment of the team, to where I think Aaron Rodgers will overfeed DK Metcalf and lead to a pick or two. And Aaron Rodgers doesn't have some sort of sterling reputation in the playoffs. He has underperformed in the past, and I don't see any reason why he can't now. I will go with the Houston Texans, even in the face of undefeated Mike Tomlin at home on Monday Night Football.
All right.
So both of you are picking the Texans, and both of you have reservations about the Texans' ability to win. So here's my thing. I think that the Texans obviously have arguably the best defense in the NFL. So,
Yeah.
I mean, for sure. However, I think that we saw from the game last week that the Steelers do have the ability to compete against a very tough defense. I'm not saying the Ravens are as good as the Texans, but it's definitely in the same neighborhood. And I think that we are going to experience the power of Aaron Rodgers. He is going to find, he's going to load up on his ashwagandha, and he's going to whatever, ashwagandha, ayahuasca, whatever it is, ayahuasca.
Your ashwagandha.
Yeah,
Wow.
baby. Whatever it is, whatever, ashwagandha forever. His ayahuasca, he's going to load up. He's going to give that team a huge hit. He's going to hotbox the locker room, and he is going to make the Steelers believe. I think
cast off.
This
We're
is
gonna blast
another.
off.
This is another upset. This is going to be the Steelers beating the Texans.
Not impossible, but yeah, I mean,
Yeah, no, it wouldn't surprise me. What would surprise me is the Steelers going any further than one round. Although, what a
Ashwagandha. Where did I get that word? I just made that up. Ayahuasca. Yeah, I want to see him hotbox the locker room with ayahuasca. That'd be fun.
Who is your matchup for the Super Bowl?
I've got Jaguars
Really?
versus
Say it. The Rams. I
the
know you're
Rams.
saying
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Who's yours?
Okay, this is gonna again. I wish we could get there, but we're gonna get there. I think it's gonna be, of course, the Los Angeles Rams and the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, yikes.
Yes. Yes.
Yikes. I don't see that.
It's so crazy. It just might be right.
Mine is, I think Seattle is going to win the NFC, and I'm struggling between Denver and Jacksonville, but I think you're going to see a Seattle Denver.
I hope personally, I hope so, because I want to be the neutral party to watch you two go at it during the Super Bowl. That would bring me, and I think the viewers and listeners of the show, the greatest joy ever.
Would it?
I will tell you, you do not want to see me on a Super Bowl tear. Oh my God.
And there it is.
What a fantastic.
Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Hey, look at him. He's cooking.
We may not be Kansas City,
Phil's cooking.
but we are the chefs.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
And we know
That's so
right
great.
now Seattle is favored to win the Super Bowl.
Yes,
Odds
they
on
are.
favorite.
Yes,
which
they
is
are.
shocking. I mean, but
Well,
no,
they're the
not
favorite.
so much.
In a loaded NFC, it's so funny because you picked a very good year to be off the wall random with your pick.
That's why I did it, is because this has been an off the wall random year.
Yeah, incredibly so. I mean, I think that's the biggest part on why the Bills are facing the most pressure, the hottest of seats organizationally in the playoffs, is because they are not facing a heritage program,
Right.
and at least to get to the Super Bowl. Nobody's job is unsafe should they meet the Super Bowl. It's the fact that if they do not bare minimum make the AFC Championship, like, you did not face a Lamar Jackson, you did not face a Joe Burrow, you did not face a Patrick Mahomes, like, which is the big boogeyman of the AFC. They weren't even there eligible to strike you down. If they somehow fail to defeat like a Bo Nix in the Denver Broncos, which very much have the possibility of being upset in the first round, while they may not be new to the playoffs, they are still young. Then it will be just an absolute travesty.
And by the way, I did put money on my picks. So I've got now. How much did I put? $20. So it wasn't like I put.
It's not
but
bad.
I did various picks within that. So I've got right now I have about $20 on the line.
I'm going to do that too.
So there you go.
I think the best just dart to throw, if you want to do just like one team
A
to win,
Jackson dart, if you will.
Oh, that's fun.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Would be the Houston Texans, because if you believe in defense travels, and you're going to get the most value meets possibility.
What about this? So, I mean, I took Seattle because if you look at Seattle's 3 losses, they're by a combined like 8 or 9 points, right? They've been in every game this year.
You took Seattle because
I
you're
like
a homer.
Seattle. I think they
That's
win.
why.
I think they go to the Super Bowl. I honestly think they win it. The Rams are the only team I think can beat them. But if we take those 2 out of the scenarios in the NFC, who's the third? Who's that one team outside of Seattle and the Rams that you think could win the NFC? I think it's
Panthers.
the Eagles, because I think the Eagles are sneaky good. They haven't played good all year, but they've got the talent on that roster to be able to put it together for a quick run.
Experience matters at this stage, and I think I begrudgingly think you're right.
What do you think, Phil?
You hate Kevin Stefanski.
As much as
admit
you
it.
hate him, you're probably thinking the same thing.
No, the Eagles are horrifically flawed, and so whenever I think of a team that just absolutely, like, there's no way that they
Horrifically flawed.
I do think if the 49ers can get past the Eagles, I will enjoy the coaching matchups that they will continue to have, and like they will have an advantage every
I don't
round.
think they can beat Seattle or the Rams.
Well, they might not have to face both. They won't have to face both of them.
They have to face one of them, and I don't think they can beat either one of them.
Yeah,
they're gonna face the Rams.
Bitter Dolphin fans on Facebook says, any hockey talk soon? Who doesn't want to talk about the fastest sport? Played on a cold, slippery surface, played by angry men holding sticks.
Yeah, Ralph,
He's
you're the
making a point.
You're the hockey guy.
Hot and sweaty hockey.
Rich, we will absolutely talk about hockey coming up soon.
When?
But right now, how can you not talk about football? There's just so much great football going on. Let's get through this first.
It's wild.
It's wild. Hey, that's our show. Thanks for joining us again. We will be back same bat time, same bat channel next week. It is the Weekend Warriors. Enjoy this football weekend. It's fantastic. We'll see you next week.